Hello, everybody. Brynholm Da.
Chryso.
Chryso. There you go. I'm teaching Jammer Welsh bit by bit as we go along, more or less. I'm ReaperSteve, joined by JammerCS. Today we're here for Welsh Masters Jammer.
Yeah, it's exciting to learn some Welsh and finally get to use it on the Welsh cast. But yeah, today should be a pretty spicy day of matchup.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a good couple of games lined up for yourselves today. We're going to be jumping into the first one relatively quickly off the bat. I think we're a couple of minutes behind, but it wouldn't be CS unless we were behind on schedule, right? Like that's how CS works these days.
Yeah, especially UKCS, right?
UKCS most definitely. Welsh CS evidently now as well, to be completely honest with you. We are coming in off the back of lots of interesting developments in Tier 2 and Tier 3 for the CS scene. I think today we've got a couple of surprise entries as far as teams are concerned. TLR essentially, with minus maybe one player. So that should be interesting to watch at least. I think the first game we've got coming up, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be Railway Gurus and BBVM.
Yeah, that's correct. Now, these two teams are... I'm not going to say they're well stacked against each other. I think there is a favourite to be had in this kind of matchup, but we'll see because we know the map that we're going to already, and I think the way that things can go, this is still anyone's game.
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest with you, looking at the player names that we got in Railway Gurus, you know, Anders, big up Anders, do you know what I mean? The big man himself, like Mr. COO of Welsh Gaming. Sorry, Esports Wales even. Like, you know, definitely stacked as far as that's concerned. You've got Zyrex in there, you've got Potters as well. And Stater, of course, the Mr. like Magic Mouse himself, you know what I mean, has about 50 different mice to choose from. I wonder which one he's picked out for today.
Yeah.
Overpass is the map though, Jammer, and
Yes.
I'm really, to be completely honest with you, it caught us both by surprise because we're so used to seeing a Mirage, or we're so used to seeing an Inferno getting picked. Dust 2, maybe not so much these days in best of ones because it's a very much like a double-edged sword as far as how that map can play out for you, depending on how well you perform at T-side.
Yeah.
Overpass, however, it's open. Like, it's open territory for both teams, basically. There's no real kind of... You can have a rough run and then you're in a bad shape for second half. You can have a rough run and win it back in the second half. You can have a great run and lose it in the second half. It's very much an open playing field.
Yeah, I honestly think that Overpass is one of the best maps to pick into for a best of one because it really can go the distance and show which team's truly the better team. And it's also a staple of UKCS. So it's not like there's any excuses for any of the players on these teams where they're like, oh, I'm not familiar with that. If it was like Ancient or Vertigo, maybe there'd be some experience disparities, but that's not the case for Overpass. It's been around forever. Everyone loves it. And it's one of the best balanced maps in the game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've started playing CS again, finally. Everyone says in chat, like, oh my god, he's actually playing Counter-Strike, the game that he works on. But yeah, I've started playing it again, and to be completely honest, I've started to stay away from maps like Mirage, and I've started to stay away from maps like Inferno, purely because Overpass gives me a better balance when I'm playing in matchmaking. Obviously, it's a little bit different in tournament settings. You're going up against teams that have pracked together for the last week or so, maybe longer, actually. I think we've had a shift in dates here and there, so, you know, these teams are definitely going to have pracked quite a fair bit up until this point. But it all comes down to that one game ultimately, and we'll see what happens. BVM on the other side of things, by the way, we should probably mention player names on that. So I think you've got Mythical, Jakes, Tomo, CSGG, NK Hudson, 2%, Wacky, and Spooky Dylan. So, I mean, yeah, I think they're a university team that have pugged together. College team. Yeah. Same thing, isn't it, if you're American. Yeah, so yeah, they're going to have plenty of time to pug with each other as well, especially if they're in college, you know, not working and all that kind of stuff. That's what I never did, at least anyway.
Shade.
Shade. I'm an old man. I'm allowed to do this, okay? Right. But yeah, Overpass. If you're, because you are obviously our kind of like, out of me and you're our coaching expert. I use quotation marks for that, Jammer, for you, because I know you hate it when I say it. If you're the coach going into this map, knife round is obviously key. Get that out of the way. T or CT side if you win knife.
I think.
What are you picking?
Honestly, a T side pick isn't bad for this kind of map. It's not Inferno where you need a good set of CT side rounds or an Ancient. You can easily start on the T side, of Overpass. And sure, it might be the harder side in some eyes, but you're at least giving yourself some breathing room and kind of like getting over the hard bit of the kind of two halves and just getting out the way so that you can focus on your CT side. But it really depends on your game plan moving into the game. You know, if you've been able to, you know, look at demos or see the tendencies of the other players, or at least, you know, just see how many times they've been playing the map, then you can definitely game plan into it in a variety of different ways.
CT side of things, on the other hand, however, if you do have to fall back into that scenario of being on CT, I feel like Overpass is one of those maps you've got to have a very, very good dynamic in your hook player. You know, you've got to have that man that can really easily switch between B and A side. You know, you're potentially looking at like a 3-stack on A, 2-stack on B, with that rotation player kicking up the fuss in the middle ground and trying to get into that better position to really stop onslaught of players pushing into B side, or potentially helping out with like long, for example, on A. So it's an interesting dynamic to really play into on CT side of this map, and you can really play it to your advantage if you have a weak side T. That aren't as quick on the push, or aren't as kind of dynamic on the push into side. So yeah, I think overall it's one of those sort of maps where we don't expect it to be picked up first. The minute it gets picked up first, it's like me and you go, okay, this is great, because now we get to see what players are actually going to play like, rather than playing this like bog standard Mirage or this bog standard Inferno that we're all kind of very much used to. I think it's probably best that we get things kicked off relatively quickly. Obviously, a big thank you to Deal Me Out for sponsoring the Welsh Masters, providing the prize pools for the tournaments as well, of course. I think that's important to get out there for everyone. Obviously, this is Welsh Sports Association as well, and obviously WGN, they support, well, I mean, Esports Wales even. WGM, what am I talking about? Esports Wales support Special Effects, of course, a charity that's both quite close to mine and your kind of like loyalties, if that makes sense. I've been doing quite a fair bit of work for them in the past, so very much looking forward to this. I think we should be jumping into the game relatively quickly. We're getting told that from the production side of things, and I think we're just waiting on Knife Round to be live. Are we going to do Knife Watch? Because like it's a staple for me and your casts, and I really want to do it. And I can hear production in my ear going like it's entirely up to us if we want to do it. I'm saying yes. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely down. You know, we're just coming back off a little bit of a break from casting, so it'll be nice to ease ourselves in, go for a little bit of banter with the Knife Watch, and see what the players are bringing to the server. Because if these kids are in college and they've got, you know, Karambit rubies, then there's going to be some question marks raised. But
yeah, definitely. I think we need to cast our minds back to that game Anders jumped in to play in for ISFF. ISF. It was that, wasn't it?
Was it? It might be ISF. I don't remember. Yeah.
And that AK. And the M4, actually, because he named both of them, didn't he? Yeah. So we know Anders is spicy with skins, at least anyway. We know he's very spicy with the way that he names them and how he kind of plays into the mentality of the players he's going up against. So I think we might be interesting. It might be interesting to see his, at least. Stater, as far as I'm aware, does have a fair bit of skins as well. So yeah, I think from like the Esports Wales side of things, we should probably see quite a fair few. I'm interested to see what the other side of things are, because this is kind of like the first time we're really getting eyes on these players and seeing what they're capable of, but also seeing what their bank balance is capable of as well. Let's jump into the Knife Round and check it out, Jammer.
Absolutely.
And they would start us with a bog standard knife, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, these are college players, so I'm not expecting, you know, any Karambit rubies or anything like that. If I did see any of that, obviously
the shenanigans ongoing.
Yeah, maybe mum's credit card has come out to play, but we'll see.
I want to see Shadow Daggers. Someone has to have them. The best knife in the game.
I hope we don't see any. They are so bad. This is weird, though. You usually see a CT side commit heavily on the Knife Round, you know, like fighting around the fountain, but maybe a bit of nerves coming through, and a flank as well. This is not ideal.
Player on the back line is going to get ganged up on in a second.
Yeah,
Reaper take that mid push immediately, right? Yeah, done and dusted.
For those of you at home in Knife Rounds, the best way to do it is just to group up together, form a line like a Spartan wall, and then just go. Yeah, that's like literally the easiest way to win Knife Rounds. So don't split up, don't do what BBVM did, but it doesn't matter. They're going to start on the T side, and as we said earlier, it's not always doom and gloom starting on the T side of Overpass.
No, it's definitely not. If you're able to commit to pushes, and you're able to use good utility to get yourself into B site, perfect. A site's a bit of a different beast, really. Yes, utility is important, but you don't have to commit too heavily on the push to get in. You can kind of chip away at teams, and you can kind of, get that chip damage in place so that you can make an effective push into site. You normally see these A sites getting pushed at like 30 seconds, 45-second pushes, rather than it being like an instant commit from the get go. We're just waiting, I believe, on one additional player to jump back in. I think we just dropped one, so hopefully we'll be starting relatively quickly. We're on a tech pause at the moment, of course.
You heard
CSGO brought to you by Tech Pause.
you heard Knife Watch slander. He's like, no, I'm not having any
I'm
of
not
that.
doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna go buy one real quick. I'll be right back, boys. Yeah, jumped out of the game just so you could unbox a few. Weirdly enough,
Uh,
has happened on a broadcast. I've actually been
yes.
on one where someone's jumped out, unboxed, and then jumped back in.
Yeah, no, it happened to one of my friends during a game as well. He just left and came back in, and he's like, "I got a new knife, by the way." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
Doesn't matter. Doesn't look like he's got a knife, but what is brought to the table is two P250s, two flashes, and a smoke. So there is some sort of a game plan from BBVM. At least you'd hope to see some sort of an execute. I'd gamble towards B, and it does seem as though they're heading in that direction, and that's completely countered with this Railway Guru setup. So we should see a brawl on the B site. Stay opens things up, and that's a long-range engagement for the T side to be engaging in. But Mythical can answer back, and this CT side has been warded off from fighting. So even though everyone on the server knows what's happening, it's an awkward stalemate.
yeah, it is indeed. I mean, those P250s can lay out a lot of damage if they're put in the right position. We saw that happen with Stato there, but there's a lot of damage being reversed back onto BBVM, which is why you're in this like kind of slow stage. That flashbang pops into the site itself. That'll aid the push as things start to materialize for BBVM, and they've gone stagnant Jammer, which is a bit unusual with utility usage being used, but that tends to dictate there's going to be rotation, and that's exactly what we're seeing from them.
Yeah, I mean, look, considering some of these players and, the nerves of this kind of a tournament getting to players, it could definitely happen. We might not be the biggest tournament in the world, but this could be the first tournament that some of these players have played in, and they're pushing up to A site from the side of BBVM, but it's not working out, and that will all be said and done. Railway Gurus pick up the first round from Pistol, and they should be moving forward pretty healthily.
Yeah, key in there, bringing up a 4K back to back. Two players obviously helped by Stato, and Anders doing some damage on both. So it'll definitely feed into the good bank balance for the CT side of things. We do see an M4 immediately brought up into round two MP9s, a FAMAS, and a Scout in the hands of Stato. On the other side of things, though, for BBVM, it's just upgrade pistols and not much else really to work with.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely do some damage with the P250s. That double dink is always lethal. And if you're going to be pushing into a choke point together, you can absolutely overwhelm players. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they want to be going in this direction. It seems like they're going to go for a smoke phase push. And Anders is spotting for it. Goes for a committed fight. Takes one down, but stays lucky to get away with that one. There is help from Zyrex, but Anders will clean up another with a nade. And it seems to be easy pickings as the alert comes in from the back lines, truly locking in this T side. It's just fishing a barrel, Nick.
Yeah, pretty much. Anders standing tall basically at that choke point there, lays enough damage out to stop the onslaught for BBVM to make some work of that utility. And yeah, I mean, I don't think he would have been standing tall too much if Zyrex wasn't behind him. In fairness, that nade pops through, gets the additional damage laid out, and Zyrex is able just to clean house.
So, nice strong start 2-0 for Railway Gurus. They do start to build up that bank balance, as you said. But now is the gun round. This is where the AKs can do some real damage because the firepower advantage lies towards the T side. It's up to the CTs to go for those microaggressions, to force out utility, maybe take away, a kill or that here or there, maybe try and trade out in an odd position, just like JJ's doing in Connector. So if he can get away with something, there could be trouble spelt. But BBVM should be, with somewhat of an advantage right now. This is unorthodox, though. This could spell disaster. There is a player lying in wait. It's just going to depend on the timing, and JJ gets away with it. That's cheeky and then some, and that's the exact kind of start you need to steal one away on the CT side.
Still doesn't have good position here still, even though he's. Oh, sorry, Zyrex actually that's there. I thought it was the scout that played forward. It actually looks like it was on the flank at least anyway. I mean, Zyrex is in a good position regardless of that MP9 to go to work. It just depends on if he can fade away enough to give himself some distance between him and that AK, get himself in a better position to help out with teammates. But look at the spread of the CTs, Jammer. They're not really in a position to help each other out, but JJ doesn't need any help whatsoever. He takes down 2% of Wacky back to back. That gives Zyrex enough space and movement to try and get an advanced position, but he's actually shut down in the end by Mythical.
Yeah, CT side taking liberty is finally punished, but with the health left on this T side and the man advantage lying in the side of Railway Gurus, it should still fall in the CT side one round. And Kian is so perfectly lying in way, even upgrades to the AK. That will be a third round. It gets somewhat expensive, but you know what? You take that because that's a bonus round.
Yeah, you do indeed. Happy with that from Railway Guru's perspective, at least anyway. I think from a game management perspective, the only thing I would probably change in that round from Railway Gurus is JJ took a lot of liberties, right? Pushing up staircase, getting himself into that position where he could do damage. But in reality, there wasn't enough noise control for him there to be able to make that maneuver without being found out too quickly. Oh, Stato there with a big hit onto Wacky. That shuts down that push immediately from BBVM. And they're having to scramble backwards here.
Yeah, bomb spotted early as well, so goes from bad to worse. BBVM back on the AKs, but not the strongest start, which is not ideal, and it looks like it's just going to get a little bit worse. JJ even in connector, getting away with more antics. Doesn't seem like things are looking rosy for BBVM today. Might be a couple rounds before we see them on the scoreboard, but you know what? There's always a chance. Jake's Tom opens things up, and that's first. Four more to find, and if there was ever a moment, it would be now, and it's not going to be now because it's a fourth round for Railway Guru.
Yeah, indeed. And they just continue the upgrade momentum. Zyrex upgrades to an AK off the back of that round. This is okay. I don't want us to get into this position immediately, but this is now dangerous territory for BBVM. They have to win this round, otherwise they're forced into two back-to-back ecos, and
Well,
that hit drinking can build very very effectively. They're on max loss bonus, I get that, but realistically speaking, you can only survive for so long, right?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, the way that T side works on Overpass, you can get away with winning 4 rounds right at the very end of the half. So it's not like it's too late, but you definitely need BBVM to start getting some kills just to buy themselves some confidence, just to buy themselves some respect. Because right now, Railway Gurus are not giving any respect over to this T side, and that's because they haven't had to. Oh,
Such a good
cheeky.
position. Yeah, I mean that's cheeky as anything. Just to fade away to get into that, JJ will smack heads immediately, takes down Jake's Tomo as well, back to back, upgrades the AK, gets himself in a decent position, but he's got bomb control up there now, Jammer, and that sends some messages through the rest of Railway Gurus to get themselves a bit more of an advanced position. And you can see that rotation play already happening, right? Coming up from B, get themselves stacked up on A. They know they've got bomb control. They just need to find these last two players and figure out which direction they're going to be heading in from. And right now, Anders is in a awkward position of having a player right alongside him. I think we missed the door open there, which is why Anders has switched immediately to Luck.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. JJ will finish Mythical off, and it's all hunt for Wacky. Wacky will pick up the first against Kia, and he's looking for another. He'll get it against Zyrex. Good utility usage there from Anders, and he'll finish things off. Puts 5 on the board for Railway Gurus, and things are looking very good for them, but not so good for BBVM at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Railway Gurus have done the exact kind of thing that they needed to for this situation. They're not respecting anything that BBVN are throwing at them, and they're just winning their gunfights. And they can just push and pull with the rotations based off, the info that they have. They've got a couple of fortunate, situations where they have bomb dropped in their possession. They can fight around it and lock off any kind of rotations, even closing in around them on the map. So really, really strong start from the CT side. BBVM need to try and kind of fall into some just standard defaults just to kind of build up their confidence, to kind of suss out what the CT side is doing, and then try and progress forward from that point. It's either default or just straight up, rush B kind of tactics that you can fall back upon, because
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like what they're trying right now is working.
Yeah, it isn't, and I think this is kind of what we talked about at the very beginning. If you're in that T side scenario where you're going up against a brick wall and you've got no way of getting through it, you have to start making those committed pushes. You have to
Hmm.
start kind of putting pressure on Railway Gurus and taking those 2-on-1 fights. I mean, we've seen, 2 rounds ago, Anders on his own, essentially looking down through tunnel. Zyrex has had to back him up, but he's not immediately on his backside. He's off center from him, waiting for that push to come through from short. So, take that 2v1 committal, try and get the frag onto Anders, and then swing through and push into the side. It's very easy then to catch a player like Zyrex who's having to manage 2 different directions, catch him off guard and keep that momentum pushing forward. But you've got to win those initial picks. You've got to get that initial fight on and get it done and dusted in a relatively quick manner to stop rotation players from coming in and you know, stop players like JJ and Zyrex from running up 8 kills, and sorry, Kian even run up 6 kills. You've got to get those early committals done.
Hmm. Well, it's a rough start. It's not, the end of the world to be starting 5-0, but what really does seem worrisome right now is just how confident Railway Gurus is and the lack of respect that they're, giving this T side. If BBVM can try and, work some breathing space, maybe sell a fake here or there, then they
Mhm.
might be able to work their way into things. But we'll wait to see what they can do. It just seems like they've invested into the AKs and a bunch of flashes. So yeah, a weird set of utility, but could definitely work. Maybe steal around away the way things are looking. But yeah, I honestly don't know what I would say right
Mm.
now if I was a BVVM coach.
This is the position I'm talking about from Anders. Okay, he's so deep there that he hasn't really got the support. Yes, he has Kian behind him, but Kian's going to take, you know, 10, 15 seconds to get himself in a good position to help Anders out if he gets caught off guard. In this kind of round scenario where you only have flashbangs to really work with and a decoy, yeah,
Hmm.
get that flashbang into play, push in off the back of it, and try and get that pick onto Anders and keep the momentum swinging through. But this is again the technical difference between teams. If you have players like this stack is perfect, right? Like Zyrex is in a really good position. He can cover both doorway and also he can cover into water. It's
Hmm.
just a matter of time before he meets players in the middle to really take them on.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side of things, you can really see BBVM, taking things slow, playing really
Hmm.
cautious, clearing the angles, and that's good. But if you're not progressing quick enough, you end up in this situation. It's 35 seconds, and it looks like even they're not sure about where they're going to commit towards. Progressing over towards A, and it does seem as though it can pull a rotation because State is here on his lonesome, but 20 seconds, what's the committal here? It is going to be A. The rotations are here from the CT side, but the Molly's just going to deny everything. Site control forfeited. I don't know if there's enough time for a bomb plant to
No.
even be chanced for here. 5 seconds. Seems like it's just damage on the cards here. EBVM, bit of a blunder there. 1v1, and Wacky goes down after time, so that's a real head scratcher there. Nick, do you want to break that one down
Yeah,
then?
I mean, it's one of the sort of ones where we're talking about committal to site, we're talking about committal to that push. The committal's there, but it's too late for it to be there.
Yeah.
You need like, realistically speaking, with a site, I mentioned it at the very beginning, you need at least like 45 seconds with site control. Need 45 seconds to get yourself into position where you can take the or push the site, take it, and still have time left over to be able to get that bomb planted. Pushing it with 30 to go, and you have like 6 different directions you have to look when you're taking into site control. Even with the player deep, they still couldn't commit into it, and time runs low and out.
I mean, obviously, the more time you have, the better. That's not going to be better, though. Losing a
No.
man very early on. It is just a deco round with a kind of hero AK situation, but
Yeah.
I don't know. What I'm seeing right now is a lot of CT aggressions and a T side that's just trying to still figure out how to approach things, which, it is what it is at the end of the day. I'm not going to harp on too much
No,
about,
no, of course. 7 rounds deep though, you wanna have a game plan by this point, and I think BBVM can put it back in the second half. BBVM can swing things around in the nicest possible way in the second half of themselves, but they need to come out fighting immediately. We're in dangerous territory now where Railway Groups take the first half. If they continue that aggression on CT and it's unanswered for, BBVM have got a really awkward second half to fight for. Good info there gained by Kian. He's going to try and get some slap damage out, but it's not enough to do anything there. And he's just going to stand back in position, waiting to help out Anders. Anders doesn't realize he's got his back turned, though.
Oh,
There is a
look at the
player there.
Molotovs. The
Yeah, good
Molotovs are just
molly.
forcing off these players. There's no time to commit because they've not forced out utility from the T
Hmm.
side. And now BBVM are trying to force their way through B short, but it's just a choke point, and there's so many bullets in so many directions. Nothing else to be done. 7-0 Railway Gurus, and it just does look like domination.
Yeah, it does. I love an underdog story though, Jammer. So BBVM, in my opinion, and I think you would probably agree, this would be an ideal time to really call a timeout. Give yourselves that extra couple of seconds to figure out what the game plan is like. They know where these players' positions are going to be. Anders is nearly enough always in that same position on B side, right? Like he's never really moving anywhere. He's using utility and pushing himself into position immediately afterwards. Perfect.
Mhm.
We know that's the case. Let's try and push a different direction. Where else do we know that there are no players, or we know that players are allowing us to take more control over? Long isn't an answer. Mid is okay. Let's push mid instead and kind of make those little bit of adjustments here and there. Without a pause, though, they don't really have time to talk about it as such. They just have to commit to the push and kind of strat roulette it more or less and see what happens.
Well, the problem about approaching things differently is this kind of situation can happen. Look at Railway
Mm.
Gurus. They've made contact and JJ is lying in wait, lurks right around them from long, and this is easy cleanup. Gets two, almost a third, but the jig is up. All the info that's required has been found. Bomb even dropped, and should be easy enough pickings for Railway Gurus. Unlucky for BBVM. If they went into
Yeah.
the same sort of passive default that they did in previous rounds, then they might have been a bit more fortunate. But man, such is the way of life. You try and adapt, you try and change, and your opponents have already countered it.
I think JJ would be kicking himself after that one. He done so much work there to get a 4-piece out of that, but he isn't able to connect on the final two. He does a lot of damage though to Jakes, and that should help Zyrex out. 25 seconds left on the clock, and again, Jammer, we're running this time down way too quickly, and they're getting jammed up in positions that they just can't afford to lose that time within.
I don't even think Zyrex is going to get cleared here.
No.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
flash though on the back lines, by the way. That was nice there to help out with Cyrex's position.
I think it was as soon as Zyrex heard that footstep, he's like, okay, they're in bathrooms, flash right here, and I'll swing.
Yeah.
But timing perhaps didn't work out for the swing, but it definitely worked out in Zyrex's favor to pick up some kills. And I mean, one of the great things actually that we can talk about from this game is, this tournament is used as a scouting platform for the Commonwealth Games, which is coming up, and the Railway Gurus are definitely putting in a very strong kind of ballot in their favor.
Really looking forward to the Commonwealth Games. It's kind of... Well, we'll let this round play out first, and we'll do our little conversation about it. Anders picks up a 3-piece, and he shares the wealth as far as the 2 additional players in his team. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Commonwealth, by the way, because it's one of those sort of things where like I've always wanted to do something like that, and I've always wanted to see it happen within the UK. Or within like the world of CS, is have national teams play against each other. So it's going to be very interesting to see who fields what. Obviously, you and I got a bit of a chance to work into the broadcast for Team Wales last year for ISF, which was very nice indeed. So more things to come on that. I think you're right in what you're saying, though. The Railway Gurus are really showing their stuff. Essentially, this is what we're here to do and help out with. JG will pick up Mythical, but he's knocked immediately back off by Hudson, who's scrambling frantically for that AK. He will pick it up in the end, but Stato's here, man apart and all alone. He's going up against 5. He's not going to be able to get anything off the back of that, other than some serious damage laid out onto Wacky Jammer.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a situation that the T's can capitalize from, but Zyrex is taking fights and everything is falling in his direction. NK Hudson can answer back for 1, and this is a 2v2, but look at the positions of the players. This is a really odd situation to be in, and BBVM are just trying to bide their time, regroup, and kind of reformulate their plan of attack. On the other side, though, Railway Gurus giving a lot of space over, and I think they're just confident enough to allow it. They're just saying, yeah, guys, you can have this space. We're confident enough to just take it all back from you at any moment that we choose. There you go.
Nice.
2% falling. NK Hudson can't even get a bomb plant off without being under duress, and you can see the space that's being forfeited. Railway Gurus playing every situation in their favor. At least the odds are stacked with them. And there's a double swing. Kian rips final player out the server. And there's a slight correction. Sorry, this isn't scouting for the Commonwealth Games. It's going to be the Euros and the World Championship. So just as
Oh,
important,
sorry.
but slightly different.
Slightly different. All works. Euros and World Championships. Pretty happy with that. Does that mean then that we are technically working for like the World Cup type scenario? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure that's how it works.
I'm gonna say it is. I mean,
Okay.
I'm wrong, obviously, most
Right.
definitely. But you know, being wrong and being right is one sentence away, basically, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Well, you know, I guess if you want to put things that way, you could say that we're like, you know, one step removed from casting a football game. Anyway,
Yeah.
round
Okay.
11,
Yeah.
10-0 in favor of Railway Gurus. JJ can't connect on the first, but that's the double AWP rung out into the air. Not that BBVM will realize it just yet. Zyrex, a lot of control and connector, but you can see there's 5 Ts over towards the A site, and JJ missed the first. Should get more opportunities, and Zyrex will help cut down this T side. 2 to the better. It's just a matter of who's going to fall and where, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Zyrex is more than happy to bide his time and to tap damage here there to just basically slow BBVM down. JJ's in a good position with your double AWP setup, and it's having to rotate all the way back from B to get himself into position towards A, but that bomb is still kind of in, you know, dead ground essentially. That could go either direction. I think if JJ spots this player out, we should hopefully see a connection. But this is, I mean, it's one of those sort of rounds where it can look quite promising for BBVM if they're able to clear these little murder holes that Railway Gurus has set up. You
The
know,
time,
JJ's
though.
in, yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's, oh, oh,
Oh,
it's a team kill. No.
it's all going wrong for BBVM. Stuck in a 2 versus 4 situation. Their approach has already been sussed out, and, well, nothing else falls in their favor. 11-0, Railway Gurus showing off, showing some of their skill. Double up setups in their repertoire, and, well, just can't wait to see what else is.
That AWP shot just sent shivers down BBVM's spine, and at 2%, it's like, oh no, and just yeah, not good. Oh goodness me, yes, okay. Production had just highlighted something which is
Yes.
actually a very
No.
very important thing to mention. Anders 12-0 Jammer.
Yes, indeed. He's having a whale of a time over towards Monster. It seems like that position is going to be benefited further. Bomb dropped, the committal's coming through, and Anders is cleaning up, fish in a barrel, and then some. 2 more players to find, and I'm sure that he's happy enough to pick up 3 that he has thus far. The other side of things, though, 2%, not having the best of games. He even got team killed by his teammate last round, so you know what? Hopefully his day gets better, even if it's not on the server.
Could someone screenshot and the score for him? I think he'll want to know it again.
Oh no.
Zyrex, the timing with that smoke, man, immediately kicks the head off Mythical, and Anders adds 16 to the board, Jammer. He's been watching my streams. He has to have been, right? Like, this is... I'm saying that this is all me, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Coach Reaper.
Coach Reaper, can you imagine that? How many teams would get bottomed out of the SEA? Just be horrific. There'd be like this massive drought of UK talent because I've somehow managed to screw them all up. Anyway, 12-0 as we head into the dying stages of the first half, and at the moment, the end is in sight for BBVM, but not the end that they were hopefully planning for at the start of this match, Jammer.
Yeah, you know, it's not the start that you wanted. Maybe not even the start that you were hoping for in any scenario, but it's the kind of life lemons, or the lemons that life has thrown at you, and you just kind of deal with the situation, see what you can get, and find those little glimmers of hope, like just trying to get a kill if you're 2%. And there we go, he's crossed the line. Zyrex with 2 to answer back though, and it doesn't matter, 2% just got a kill. I'm happy. Should be a 13th round on the board though. BBVM, 2 players left, just kind of hiding in corners, just waiting for it to happen. But NK Hudson has bullets and he can answer back. Wacky's also alive. Things are not all over just yet, although Zyrex is going to get a full blind kill. Seems like Stater was trying to help NK Hudson out, but
Yeah.
Doesn't matter because it's not gonna fall in that situation anyway. Does Wacky has bomb. He has an
It
open B
does.
site. This is
Completely
the
open.
first bomb plant
Okay,
that we've seen, or no?
second, because BBVM managed to plant in that 1v2.
Ah, yes.
Okay, Kian is rotated though, so I mean there is someone there that can help. That audio cue is going to help him out at least anyway, and he's been extremely silent the entire way down. So 13th should be on the cards, and it
Oh,
is indeed. Kian will pick up the headshot onto Wacky, take us into round 14 with Railway Guru is just absolutely leading the charge at the moment.
yeah, I can think. Sorry, I really can't English today. I apologize, but you can kind of see just the kind of nerves and the conditioning that had fallen into these BBVM players, especially when
Mhm.
Wacky's hesitating to try and get to the B site, and then he goes for the stylistic one tap. You know, it's not the kind of meta play style that you want to see out of some of these players, but it's completely understandable with the situation that they're in. And you know, I don't blame them for being in the situation. It's just unfortunate and part of the course, I guess.
There's winners and losers, right? There has to be one winner, there has to be one loser, and that unfortunately in this case is BPPM today so far at least, unless things change, of course, because we've seen stranger things happen, Jammer, and teams can come back in the second half.
Is there a knife? What? How is Zyrex there? I was gonna
I don't
say
understand how Zyrex got in that position.
he pushed through Fountain with JJ giving him cover from Fountain. And then he just ran up connector right behind the T side. I think he was going for a knife, perhaps. Changes his mind, only gets 1-for-1, and right now we're on the cusp of a 14th round for Werewolf Gurus. The real question is it going to be 16-0? Bold prediction right now.
I think that's a very bold prediction, but I think it's I say bold. Give you good odds on it at least anyway, right? Like, and not that we're betting men, of course. You know,
Right.
being commentators can't do that sort of stuff.
Yeah, for
But
whatever reason.
oh, Keaton tries to go for the cheeky tap through wall, but Jix is able to retort after dropping a massive 79 HP off the back of it. Quick maths. Now it's 100. JJ will pick him up in the end, and we're in a very familiar situation there, Jammer, with Wacky taking on 3 players solo.
15 seconds left on the clock. Going for the style, one taps, trying to pre-fire JJ. Not going to find anything just yet. And gets knocked down quite low in terms of health. He's got a flash, but it shouldn't matter because JJ's come to clean it up with the P250. 14-0 Railway Gurus on the cusp of just straight out winning this half.
I mean, we're 40 minutes into our first game of the day, and we're near the end already of that first game. It's crazy. I mean, this is quick.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh yeah, we were late actually. So yeah, this is
it's
like yeah,
it's like
okay.
a 20-30 minute game. Lovely,
This
nice,
is like
crisp,
my
sweet
ideal
one to start off.
my ideal matchmaking scenario, by the way. Like, quick jump in, you know, Rick and Morty style.
Though?
Quick 15-minute adventure, in and out. Never happens like that though. Especially you get like 3 dudes who just absolutely hate talking to you on voice chat. Anyway, enough about horrors of matchmaking.
You can see
JJ,
the PTSD coming through for you.
Yeah, I was getting Vietnam flashbacks, not gonna lie, for a moment. Like, oh, quick on the switch, but isn't quick enough to get a landing shot there onto, I think that was 2% that popped out. 2% will fall in the end, however. Stato's going to go for a cheeky second. He gets it in the end. That's bomb dropped as well, Jammer into mid. And he's running out of space to maneuver here. JJ should be styling on Mythical. That is just...
That's disrespectful. Well, NK Hudson stuck in a very unfortunate situation, and it's going to be very unfortunate because it's 15-0. Railway Guru is not dropping a single round. Now, wait to see if it's 16-0 or whether BBVM can win a pistol and prevent that kind of scoreline from happening. Yeah, I don't know what else to say
there, by the way? Like, my man's styling. Like, literally, no... I'm just going to do like a 360 and then shoot you with a pistol. He does get some help. I'll give him that. You know, Zyrex is there to land a helping hand with some damage, but... my days. Sheesh. Anyway, 15-0 Jammer so far, as you mentioned, heading into pistol round. And this potentially could be our final round, of course, being at match point, and Railway Guru is looking to lead the charge as they head their way towards long A. Wacky's going to be there to defend, but it's how many he can get with that USP Jammer. And it's going to be none as he falls back ever so slightly to get himself a better position to work with Jakes.
Yeah, he second-guessed himself, and now he's stuck in an unfortunate situation. It does seem to be around the world, though, from Railway Gurus. Yeah. Love this strat, running through connector down on towards the B site. It should be easy pickings, but there's 2 players from BBVM to lock things down, and MK Hudson opens things up. A couple more players to find. 2% can't do much, but he's helped out by his teammate. Really bad day at the office for him, but Railway Gurus, 2 versus 3 on the cards. Oh, that's a really important engagement. JJ trying to level the playing field. Are they going to run back?
No, they're not going to. Okay, all right. I was going to say, this is madness if they did.
On planted, trying to lock down the site, and oh no, JJ's ripped 2 out the set. Already get the third, 16-0. And that will be all said and done with Railway Gurus picking up a win against BBVM. Unfortunate for the young lads from college Welsh scene, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
It is indeed. I mean, you can't deny it. That was just well played from Railway Gurus. BBVM, not the best day out, but at the same time, hopefully they'll be back for more. I can't believe how much of an animal JJ is with a pistol. I mean, like, he was open for the better part of the second half of second side of the first half. And I think nearly every one of his kills came from pistol rather than from AWP. Like, it's just an animal with it. We are going to take a short break, however, and we were back with more from the Welsh Masters, sponsored by Deal Me Out. We shall see you very soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you're all well. We're going to be jumping into map 2, Jammer, of our best of ones. 2 best of ones back to back. That English.
You know what? We'll get there someday.
You like, it's my turn now for this map. You had it last time. No, we're back, at least anyway, with our second map today. We don't know the map pick as of yet, though.
Oh, I thought probably it was. I thought it was Mirage.
I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. I was listening to Foo Fighters for the entirety of that break, so I didn't really pay attention to what was being said to me. So we'll pretend that we both didn't know. Okay. Anyway, right. Last Sheep versus Lamb Chops. What a name matchup that is. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. Mirage, staple of CS, Jammer. I mean, it's one of those sort of maps I don't like to talk a lot about because there's not really much to talk about that people don't already know. You know, it's like it's probably one of the most played maps. It's not the most entertaining in some cases for people if you've played it enough, like all of us have. But realistically speaking, it's one of those staples you kind of expect to see. Like we mentioned earlier on, it's not your overpass, it's Mirage. You know, it's the one that you expect to get pulled out of the bag first. Thoughts kind of going into Mirage. I mean, T side, CT side off knife. It tosses back and forward so much, and I'm kind of interested to see what your opinion is on it.
Honestly, well, you know, as you were saying, it's the most played map in the map pool. So just, you know, coming into this from a spectator's point of view, like wanting to see the best team come out on top, you will usually see which team is at least better prepared in terms of their positions and how they position their players to perform well. So we should see the best team come out on top with this kind of a matchup. Not that Overpass was a bad map for that kind of thing, but maybe a Vertigo or an Ancient might have been, you know, maybe a bit less kind of beneficial for that kind of thing. But anyway, moving forward, as you were saying, T side is actually pretty evenly stacked against CT side because of how played out this map is. You know, we've seen the kind of flipping back and forth of strong T sides, strong CT sides over the years, and at this point there's so many different varieties and game plans to play this map that it's anyone's game at anyone's day, and it really just depends on what counter of what version of Mirage you're playing that you're going to bring to the service. That didn't make perfect sense.
No, but
if you can kind of get the gist of
I think you get, exactly. You can get what you mean though, because I mean, like, you only got to look at HLTV's map stats for this map in particular, and it changes by like 0.5% on a daily basis. You know, it's very minimal difference between T side, CT side. It's so close because it's just so played out and it's so well versed by a lot of teams. You know, if you're on T side, you've got to have your good utility to get pushed into A side. You've got to have your good utility to push into B. You can't really mess them up if you've played it as much. You know, they're very much like standard smokes. They're very much standard pot flashes to get into sight. Your CT side of things, your mollies have got to be on point. But again, they're so well. You should be so well versed in doing those mollies, and you should be so well versed in your positioning. Like, for example, to hold, you know, hold mid from connector. You know, hold lower from connector. Give your AWP man a chance in window. There's so many different options that come into play, but they're all standard positions. You know, they're all things that we expect. What we tend to see quite a lot in maps like this, and I think you'll agree, is we see a lot of really quick engagements with pre-fire because of how used players are to seeing those positions being used. I think we could just speak this uncombraic from now on. I'm just speaking Welsh. It'll probably be easier to be completely honest with you. But yeah, I mean, you get the gist of what I think I'm trying to hit with, right? Like it's not hitting the nail quite on the head. I will admit that, but I think we'll both agree that it's fairly well played and it's fairly well versed for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things that these teams need to not fall into is just treat it like a pug. You know, if you want to really come out on top and, you know, put on a similar performance that we saw in the last game and potentially win 16-0, you need to, like, not necessarily play standard CS, but you need to try and play to your own advantages. So you talked about having the AWP in window. Maybe that's not the best place to have your AWP. You know, maybe the best place for the AWP is, you know, lurking around jungle, maybe peeking deep down into B apps and mixing things up, you know, to really catch the T side off guard.
Play your AWP from short. Like, I've seen so many teams play at tier 1 and tier 2 level, playing that AWP at short rather than playing it through window. Yes, it takes longer to set it up, but once it's in position, it's a very, very difficult tool to get rid of. You know, there's only like three different. I think there's 3 different utility usages you can do to really block off that position. You've got the smoke that you pop off the B site sign. You've got the molly that you can pop off it as well. You've also got like 2 different smokes that you can potentially push from top mid. That's it. There's no other options. You either push down and you take it in force with 2 players taking on 1 AWP and just chance your arm at maybe losing 1 player or not, or you swing out towards chair and you take on that short player there. There's not a lot of mechanics to really play with in that respect. So yeah, I mean, having different dynamics like that and maybe I'd like to say, you know, having those kind of lurk spots available to you is great. They're very few and far between, but if you can catch players off guard, then use it to your advantage. Let's jump into it, Jammer. Let's get a knife round on the way. And the observer listens, and he puts us straight in with the karambit. Like, oh, what a cool dude, you know?
Calling out the observer. He's doing a fantastic job today.
He does, yeah. Second karambit. This guy's got it worked out, Jammer. He knows exactly what we're looking for. Okay. Well, I mean...
You know what? The skins don't mean wins in knife round, and it is going to be the last sheep that picks it up in the end. Lamb Shops should be, you know, getting a bit of a less beneficial start.
Yeah. CT or T side then, Jammer? If you're going to pick it, are you going to pick the same way?
I would pick T side. Mirage, honestly, yeah.
I think you can do a lot of damage from T side. See, that's the thing of it, and you can put players on watch very quickly on from T side. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those sort of things. It's one of those sort of moments where you look at it and you go, okay, T side gives me multiple options to play with. CT gives me the option of playing mind games early on, you know, and that's the kind of difficult choice between the two for these captains and coaches. It is going to be an A-site push, however. He's in good position there to stop the bomb plant. He will indeed. He'll swing back out, get a second off the back of that. He's looking for a third. He'll get it. Can he get a 4th, Jammer? He will indeed. He's looking for the ace. He's got 1 left to grab, and will he? He will indeed.
What a way to start things off. Pistol round 1. The last sheep will be happy to pick that up, but no one's happier than Emmy to pick up all 5, and that's the exact kind of momentum that you want coming into this game. The last sheep, I almost said the other team name that we were using for them, but the last sheep, you know, these guys are the favorites for the entire tournament. So the fact that they're starting off like that just kind of speaks volumes about the quality of play that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what an ace to start things off with. I love a good pistol ace. I'm a fan of doing it myself on more than one occasion now. And I'm swinging straight back into things. Mog straight up deep. He'll get 1 off the back of it, but there's not much that actually picks him off in the end, and he'll fall not long after, but it's just trade for trade at the minute. Joshua's pushing up the back line with that MP9 jam. He puts in the good work. He's looking for more if he can get it. USP comes out. He'll catch the player off on the reload, but he gets taken out before he can actually seal the deal, Jammer.
Yeah, this is awkward, or it was awkward. A lot of CT side damage coming through, so not going to be the healthiest, you know, build-up of economy, as you'd like to say, but they win the round. I think the last sheep, you know, they're already kind of coming out of the gate swinging. They're happy to kind of take liberties, should we say, and treat it a bit like a pug. So if they're going to continue to win rounds and play with that kind of play style, then why not?
I'm still a bit wiped after that ace, to be honest. I haven't spoken so fast in weeks, to be completely honest with you. It's nice to see it, and I mean, it's nice to see them continue that momentum into the next round. You know, yes, there's a couple of losses there in that B-side defense, but they made it work. Joshua there picks off Swift at top mid. He's going to go for a second. The pop flash will come through from MMS, and it's just all go at the minute here for Last Sheep as they swing and take these fights one-on-one, back-to-back, and it's just no end in sight for Lamb Chops. Iroh can't answer back in any way, shape, or form, and I mean, Emmy takes his kill count to 9, Jammer, in 3 rounds. You know, this
ridiculous.
Is yeah, this is crazy.
Well, as we strongest starters, they are the favourites, honestly. I mean, I guess, you know, one of the bold predictions I could ask you at this point is how many aces are we going to see in this kind of a matchup?
Oh, I mean, we've seen Emmy do it before, right, where he gets like 2 back-to-back. it all depends on position and how Lamb Chops want to really take on that fire control. Zimzy, even right around here, will fall in the end, but the man picks people through smoke, Jammer. He doesn't care about your cover and concealment. He's happy just to spray it through and see what happens. Not much left standing. We'll take down Joshua. And a 4th on the board in that round again.
I like the little slip of the tactical knowledge coming into there, covering concealment.
You know me. I'm an FPS guy. You know, that's my life. Like, this is like I've been a full blown nerd for many years, Jammer. Okay, like
you're well versed and practiced.
Sort of. Yeah, get in there. I think it's probably the best way. Weird enough, in the process, in the background of installing Arma 3 again, he might just. Why are you there? Why is he there with Joshua backing him with Yorp? Like, there's no respect in that position, and he'll push up mid as well. He doesn't need to reload that AK. AK's nothing, Jammer. I got a P250 in my hand. I've got to go for that.
All bullets do damage, right?
Yep, exactly.
So
I'm gonna let you talk for a minute because my voice, like, let me catch my breath here, mate. What is going on?
5-0 for the last sheep. Very, very quick rounds. There might even be the opportunity for this map to be even quicker than the last, and that's not to say that, you know, any of the teams have been particularly bad, but some of the levels of quality of players that we're seeing in these games is just, you know, steps above, you know, their counterparts, and that's just an unfortunate situation sometimes in life. Doesn't matter though. 5-0. Emmy, I didn't even see him get down here, but he snuck his way through underpass, not being quiet by any means. He's got some support from M, and so much damage ringing through, but it's like harassment of this T side from the last sheet. It's not something you see every day.
It's just rude. Sorry, it's just
genuinely
rude.
Yeah.
He doesn't care, mate. He's just going for it. I love this. This is like the kind of CS that we want to watch on a Saturday afternoon. He doesn't quite get Lamb Chop in the end, but I mean, realistically speaking, these are just fights that last sheep are going to win 9 times out of 10. In fairness.
Yeah, consolation frags, if you will.
Okay, I'm an underpass player, right, from CT. I love playing underpass. I love catching players off guard as they try to push themselves into B side. What that man just did there was cheeky and rude. Someone needs to, you know, sit him down in the naughty corner for 5 minutes and let him cool off a little bit here. But I don't think we're going to get a chance to see him cool off, Jammer, because he's just back at it again.
Yeah, I mean, don't even need to see over the flames to speckle some bullets over, and nothing connects, which is a little bit awkward. But you know what? It doesn't matter because it's just a matter of time, and that was an auto. Emmy has an auto, ladies and gentlemen.
I did want to highlight it, just in case. But I think we're going to have to watch it, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
1...
Oh, no.
Do not let that man get more than 2 kills with the auto, otherwise he's made the money back straight away for it, and it's made it viable for whatever reason.
Viable and the auto does not belong in the same sentence.
No, it shouldn't be. It's not allowed to be. But he's going to push through with it. You get a second. No. It's going to happen, Jammer.
Well, Uncle Iroh can't survive for long as MMS puts him in the ground. 7-0 to the last sheep, and I don't know if we're going to see a round tick down to the final seconds. We haven't got to the final seconds of a round time. I don't even think we've got to the final 30 seconds of a round. Yeah.
No, we haven't. I mean, okay, this is little, like, kind of, you know, thinking it's a stat, maybe not a stat. We're 7 rounds deep now in the same time it took for the last map to get 4 rounds deep. That's how quick these rounds have been playing out. Like, this is super big momentum from last sheep, taking all that control from CT side and just laying the hurt down on Lamb Chops. Joshua, we're going to peek through under, with your Flash will go into position. He'll pick up the frag onto Swift, and he's looking for more, Jammer.
He is indeed. 2 players around him, Jack Mac and Sir Lamb Chop. Sir Lamb Chop.
I think it is.
That's a cool name.
I like that.
You reckon he's the IGL?
Oh, maybe. Either that or he's a fan of 90s kid shows. I need to explain myself now, don't I?
Yeah, you've lost me.
There was a kid show from America in the 90s. I was saying, can we just not look at him anymore? Like, the old sniper's not nice. It's not the nicest of things. I'm joking, by the way. Keep putting it up because it's quite funny to watch. There was a kids' TV program in the 90s called Lamb Chop. and I'll send you a video of it after. The most annoying voice in the world. Speaking of annoying voices, that AK rings out, takes Jack Mac down, and I think Zimzy's signaling something for us there. He's trying to get hand signals out. He knows there's a player nearby. Takes suppressor off the M4 jammer. Not unheard of, but not practical normally. And he might well finish off another. And Emmy, sorry, just loving the auto sniper.
21-1.
He's even inspecting, like, as if to say, like, this is what I can do with this. Like, do you know who I am?
What is the world we're living in?
Like, yeah, exactly. When me and you sat down this morning and we were like, okay, what have we got today? We've got 2 best of 1s, potentially 3 best of 1s, 1 best of 3. You know, this is kind of maps that we should be potentially seeing. Neither of us sat there and went, we're going to see an auto sniper come out and get 21 kills, by the way. Like, that's not... Ooh. It's not what we thought. Jack Mac will pick up M on the initial push, and it's just all clean house here for last sheep. MMS is picking up frags back to back. He'd even get a TK off the back of it. I think that was Iro with a Molotov.
Yeah. Just runs into his teammate. I think Iro just ran. Oh no, Sir Lambchop ran into Iro. Someone ran into their teammate's Molotov, and now Iro's stuck on 0 kills again. So that's unfortunate.
It is. It is very unfortunate. So I wonder how we're going to see this best of 3 play out. To be honest with you, I don't want to be that guy or anything, like, but I think this is probably going to be. It's going to be a very interesting next map, at least anyway. Next series. Let's get this one out of the way first of all, though. Emmy's just looking for the extra. He's trying to go for wall shots, Jammer. Someone stop this man. 23-1 in 9 rounds. So,
do you think if Emmy was just left to run about, if the last sheet played that, what's it called? What's the strat roulette? And it was the one strat where you send one player out and then they die, and one player out and then they die.
Yeah, you trade the AKs. Yeah.
Or the auto in this case.
The auto in this case. That'd be a good idea. Can we get that? Oh my god, there's a negative, by the way. I've just noticed that.
Well, this is disgrace after disgrace, but Lamb Chops have made their way up short. Bomb is dropped, Joshua misses a jump, and, well, B-site might be forfeited over towards Lamb Chops. That's about it. MMS, though, he's coming right around the corner to stop any more shenanigans, and aggression after aggression. Swift picks up 1 kill with the lovely decked out AK. Let's see if he can get anything more. No, is the answer.
What is this madness? Like, how are we in this position, Shower?
It's utter pandemonium. You got players running into their teammates' Molotovs, a dude running around 24-1 with an auto, and a Negev for whatever reason. But you know what?
I mean, the Negev does make sense. Like, I can't believe I've actually said that, to be honest with you. But like Mog with a Negev, like he's 2-2 at the minute. He's looking for frags, so slapping Negev somewhere where you can really get that left click button working nicely and you're good to go. Zimzy, however, will get the left click working immediately. Swift and Jack Mac, will drop. Uncle Iro will finish off with his Glock. Oh, the auto sniper goes down, Jammer. Negev rings true though.
I don't know why, but there should have been an assist from Margot to his teammate. Doesn't matter though, because the Negev is going to continue to deal damage. As to who it's dealing damage to is another matter, but it's 11-0 to last sheep, and lamb chops don't look long for this world. Looking quite tasty if you're a last sheep man.
I want to be that guy. Potter's put up in Twitch chat earlier on. Decent at best, we're going to win the finals. Interesting to see that come out, to be completely honest with you, the way things are going at the moment for last sheep. Maybe getting some advanced tactics ready for the next map or the next series, Jammer. Who knows?
Nick, I don't know why you're throwing shade, my man. We can't even play the game.
I can play the game, thank you very much. Like, sort of, not really. I can play against Silvers. Oh, Negev, just above your head there, Jack Mac. Unfortunate as he peeks out from unders and gets shut down immediately.
Okay, I want to make this happen now while we've got a little in the action. I want to see what happens if we can get some like UK CS guys to hop on, willing to risk a little bit of elo, just tank a bit of elo, just to put Nick into a level 10 game and see
Can
what
you
happens.
imagine?
I just want to see you in a level 10 game right now, man.
The absolute scenes of me in a level 10 game. Whoa, wait there. Let's concentrate here a second. 11-0 could potentially be 11-1. If Swift and Lamchop can get a pick here, we're gonna get the 1 and they can secure either side essentially. And right now it's looking more favourable towards A, to be honest with you, Jammer. Joshua's in a good position to kind of cover off down towards T ramp, but he's got no eyes towards connector. They aren't going to choose to go that option. They are going to head towards B. They've got a bomb in hand, 30 seconds left on the clock. It's going to have to be a quick push into sight if they're going to make any use of this, though.
Yeah, eventually time is going to work against the lamb chops. They do get site control though, 20 seconds. And if they plant in the right spot, they can at least lock that in and guarantee themselves a little bit of money moving forward. Maybe even deny the 16-0, but time is ticking now against them. Swift actually is set up perfectly against MMS, but looks away at the wrong moment. And
oh,
nice. You know what? He looks back. That's fine. Joshua, 1 versus 2, AK in hand, kit on his back, and 2 players to find. Can you do it, Nick?
If it's going to happen, it won't.
Oh, no. They stopped it.
Almost made a prediction, man. And
they stopped it from happening.
Just as I was about to make a prediction, they shut me down. Thank you very much, Lamb Chops. I do appreciate that. They get 1 on the board. This is the first time, by the way, in the 2 best of 1s that we've done that we've actually seen a round go in the opposite direction, Jammer.
It's the first T-side round that we've seen won apart from the pistol round win in the last one.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Time to
get 2.
Yeah, I get 2. I mean, pull it back here, right? Like you can recover an 11-1.
Yeah, I mean 11-4 is the most dangerous scoreline in CS, right?
Exactly. Got to be really sweaty for it though, like proper sweaty for it.
You mean like 2 autos on the CT side sweaty?
Yeah, I've just noticed that as well. Well, they got the money for it, so it's not a huge issue. Oh, Simsy. I think he'd be asking how that fight didn't go his direction. We'll finish him off, however. So it's Jack Mac done. MMS is sweeping through the back lines. He'll pick up Uncle Iro, as you mentioned earlier on, and he's looking for more. So Lamb Chop will finish him off, however. And we're now in a 3v2 with 2 autos still left in the mix, Jammer.
This is a
oh, never mind.
bizarre situation.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a 40k reference to people, but the Dak just didn't really want to work in that position there. God, I'm a nerd. Anyway, moving swiftly on before we realise. Zimzy Before we realise? While everyone realises. No, you're good. You're good. I favour this from last sheet, splitting the sights up between 2. You've got 2 different sniper rifles working in 2 different positions, but at the same time, I think Zimzy really needs to be pushing towards short. To get the audio cues if he was going to get pushed from B side, but it would also give a helping hand because he's got 11 HP, 10 seconds left in the clock. That auto sniper needs to go to work. You get 1 with a no scope on a second. Try to get excited over an auto sniper. What is going on with me, John?
It was a no scope. There's nothing to be excited about there, but at the same time, you kind of it's one of those situations where you do an act and you feel kind of dirty afterwards.
I feel horrible.
Well, it seems like there's a window stack or something of that sort in middle. Shenanigans not going to be met by the Lamb Chops, who are going for a B stack of their own, waiting for this underpass aggression. This is such a bizarre game, Nick. What is going on? This is scouting for the official esports Wales teams moving forward in international competitions. And this is what we're seeing.
So PP Bison. Sorry, I'm just scratching my head over the PP Bison. Simsy, however, will start things off in that underpass clearance, as you mentioned. He'll pick up Sir Lamb Chop, and the game has definitely been given away, but it's kind of hovering backwards. Look at this aggression from the CTs, by the way. Joshua standing fast, will not pick up anything off the back of it. Jack Mac is able to pick up 2, but the underpass play comes through from Last Sheep, and they're looking for more. They're getting deadlier and deadlier with these shots, and some of them are working out. Oh, that made someone get that man a protractor. He just did some sort of geometry and mathematics. I don't want to go on with that, to be completely honest
Yeah,
with you.
yeah,
I wish I was intelligent enough to
I
be
just
able
let
to
you
give you a really
ruminate
good,
with that.
really good reference there. The other maths, man. What would he use to be able to get that grenade into that position?
Yeah, geometry, perfect.
I'm
Angles.
intelligent. See? Oh my god, Jammer.
Yes, I know. I saw
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
They've got pocket ups, and we're not talking about the deagle, but the Molotov will lock in the kill. Let's see. Oh, okay. That's weird. But you know what? 1-for-1 trade out of a Nova and an AK. You'll take that every day. There's a nade to clean up a kill again, and the CTs are still in a man advantage.
Got the range, haven't they? The AKs. I mean, actually, I've seen some weird stuff with Novas before, and they've got range as well also. Oh, Deeg. Ah, nice. Good headshot there onto Lamb Chop. 1 Deeg, sort of. It's my version of a 1 Deeg, at least anyway. If I hit them with 1 bullet, then it's a 1 Deeg, right?
Yeah. That's how it works.
And Kalairo, last man standing with the AK in hand. They're going for the knife, and you'll get it. And that will take us into the second half. 14-1, Jammer.
14-1 indeed. Has been a denial of the 16-0, which was kind of what we were almost expecting coming into this. So, you know, talking about glimmers of hope, there's the one round that you can watch the demo back and be like, hey.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be a good one to watch back. I think the pistol ace will be a good one to watch back, to be honest with you as well. I know I will be going back to grab it from the VOD. Ready to check into a video or two. Why not? I think, to be completely honest with you, Jammer, Lamb Chops need to play aggressive. Oh, we're just getting...
See.
I'll let
you want to tell the viewers at home what's going on?
No, I'm not touching that. No.
Okay,
no.
All right. Well, the last sheep are actually doing strat roulette, and it's the crab walk strat where you're supposed to form a line and follow the leader as you crab walk into a site, but it seems like the last sheep are pulling off whatever version of it that they want. Still crab walk. Sorry, I'm flabbergasted because the crab walk actually worked, and they're getting the bomb planted. That is the most awkward engagement, and Zimzy comes out on top. Now 2 versus 3 on the retake. COD player and Swift trying to do it all. But yeah, this is a real odd one. Now just Zimzy left alive. 1 versus 2. Upgrades to the USP. Bomb tapped, and oh no. Oh no. That's unfortunate.
It's days like this, Jam, where I really wish that you and I were recording our own cameras, so we could watch back all the hand movements and the gestures and everything else that goes on in the background. Because for the majority of that last round, my head was in my hands. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just like, they're doing strat roulette. This is gonna be fun. Here we go. Well, they aren't doing it this round though. By the looks of things, they're gonna make a full push straight down mid. All the nades getting thrown into that mid window.
Nope, they're still doing strat roulette. Running down middle.
Oh,
and they pick up 2 kills. I'm so confused. Well, it seems like...
kills. I mean, Zimzy just executed 2 CTs back to back.
True.
Oh, and he's done another one. And that's it, boys. 16-1 to the last sheep. Lamb chops go out on the barbecue, ready, burning, sizzling in some way. Well,
you might say the lamb chops were devoured.
Oh, I like that. I like that quite a lot. We are going to take a very short break. We'll be back with the next matchup, which I believe is going to be the final, in about 10-15 minutes-ish. I'm getting shouted at by production, most likely, in my ear in a second, going like, what are you talking about? We run the times, not you. But I am correct, evidently, Jammer, for a change, which is very nice, to be completely honest with you. I don't know about you, but I'm going to need 5 minutes after that, to be completely honest with you. Way too many auto snipers, PP Bisons, Novas, Negevs. It's just anything and everything that was really thrown into the mix there. I've talked quite a lot, so I'm going to let you have the closing moment there for that last match. Your thoughts and feelings.
Just get me into the finals, boys. I want to see some normal CS. I want to see some good CS. So we'll take a short break and see you back after about 10-15 minutes.
See you in a minute. da. That's Welsh
Uh,
for good afternoon, by the way. Anyway, that's- good morning. Sorry, that is actually being corrected by someone who's sort of Welsh. Anyway, let's shift on very quickly. It's been a very long afternoon, Jammer. We've had two best of ones back to back, both of them 16 and something, 16-0. So, two very stacked lineups jumping into the best of three finals that we're about to jump into. I think we're just waiting on some players, but we should have vetoes ready to look at.
yeah. Oh, okay. That's an
Okay.
interesting set of maps.
Okay.
It's going to be Mirage to open things up. What thoughts on that first, actually, before we hop into the other two?
I mean, Railway Gurus must have been watching the last map to see what the crack is with Last Sheep's antics on Mirage. I mean, I'm interested in map 2 as well, because obviously Railway Gurus strong on that map, Last Sheep strong on their map. The Decider is what's very interesting though, because it's one of those sort of maps that we kind of expect to see as a final map pick, but at the same time going up against these two teams which are very strong, have very strong showings. It's going to be interesting to see how they play a map which is very much like close quarters, and there's not really a lot of room for mistakes and room for maneuvers. So yeah, an interesting 3-pick, to be completely honest with you. I would have expected the Decider to potentially go to Nuke or maybe Dust, but Vertical works quite nicely into that mix.
Yeah, I mean, it could have easily been any of them. I think. I mean, honestly speaking, I still see this going 2-0.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're thinking.
I mean, like, let's be completely honest. Railway Gurus did very, very well in that first map, right? Like, perfectly played out for them. Last Sheep played that last map like strat roulette, as we said, towards the end of the second half, end of the 16 rounds that we watched of conventional play. If they play it with any kind of seriousness, this is over before it begins. Last Sheep take map 1, right, and then you go into map 2. Railway Gurus are on the back foot immediately, and it's just you can lose a lot of morale and momentum just on the basis of map 1 going not your way. But we're going to jump straight into gameplay, Jammer, and it's Railway Gurus on CT side, Last Sheep on T side. Zyrex is going to start things off for us.
Yeah. Oh, that's a spicy opener from Anders, picking people off, but Marg answers back with 2 of his own, and this is an awkward 3v3 because the CT side have lost jungle control, and that should buy a lot of space for this bomb plant to come through, but as the smokes fade, there's no opportunity for the plant to be initiated.
I'm wondering whether or not MMS has been spotted in this position. He hasn't, because he's managed to stay all the way through. Look at that. He's gone all the way through to get himself in towards B side. He's not going to call the rotation though, because he's too far deep. I mean, he's practically, in CT spawn at this moment in time. Zyrex may get the 1v1 against him. He's got the initial hit onto him. That bomb is going to get planted towards B side, however, and it's more kind of like Team is there to basically bait attention into site itself and buy time for MMS to get the bomb plant in place.
Yeah, a bit of a weird one because MMS actually started shooting and killed a player before they realized it was on B, but that's an important second frag to pick up, and now it's a 1v1. MMS picking up 3 to clutch the round out for the Last Sheep, and that's the kind of performance you want. Forget the ace. I feel like that one's more important.
It's a big win, isn't it? That's a massive round to take initially. You've lost quite a lot of players pushing into a site. He managed to get that sneak through the center, get himself into that rotation play, get bomb plant as well as a frag before the bomb gets planted. Like that's a big effort coming in from MMS, in fairness, and should hopefully see more of it. That AK in hand, ready to spam any attention that comes from underpass, but it hasn't been chosen this time around by Railway Gurus to take advantage of. Initial hits land there from Zyrex and Joshua. Mog is also able to clear bandits elsewhere. Joshua hunting for that second. He'll get it in the end against Kian. Site aggression there coming in onto B site itself. MMS will look for 1. He's getting the first. He won't get the second. Stater will finish that off for us.
Yeah, it seems to be easy breathing from the Last Sheep so far, but with this AK being retrieved, there is an opportunity for Stater to get more damage, and he needs to be prepared though, because he's been closed in from all angles. It seems like the Last Sheep are going hunting, and Stater just caught looking the wrong way. Emmy can upgrade to the AK. 2-0 to the Last Sheep though, off the back of that force from the CT side.
Perfection. in because I'm trying to think of what Railway Gurus need to do into round 3 and 4 to really counteract what Last Sheep are putting out at the moment. I like the fact that they haven't bought anything into this round. You know, it's one of those sort of rounds into round 3 where you expect them to kind of buy rifles. Obviously, they don't have the cash ability for it. Mog will pick up 2 as he clears through into a site. This round's already done and dusted with over and done. But I think in long-term plans for Railway Gurus, obviously to build up a bit of cash, give themselves that fighting chance into this round. They've got max loss bonus as well to play into also. CT economy is not strong though, Jammer.
No, it's not. There is going to be a full investment here, and the double up glass cannon in the hands of JJ. We saw him trying that on Overpass. It wasn't the most successful, but you know what? It's a new day. It's a new map. Definitely opportunities for there to be some impact with the double up on Mirage. Oh, that's not a good start though. Caught looking the wrong way, not punished for it just yet, but this is so quick, so advanced from the T side that it's caught the CT side off guard. B split coming through, and there's a lot of pressure on Anders' shoulders right now, trying to stay alive around the finicky edges of this site, and teammates are falling around him, meaning he's got no cover, and that's it. Stater's just left alive with the AWP, and he's gonna have to save.
Has to really, can't really do anything with this AWP. I mean, realistically speaking, he's got 2 picks that he can easily make. Marvin and Emmy are quite low down, but he's not going to face off against him. Zimzy's going to swing out and connect onto the forehead of Stater, and that's the AWP dropped, and dangerous territory for the CT's Jammer.
Yeah, especially because there's a double AWP T side, and you can kind of see flashbacks of perhaps the last map that we viewed with the Last Sheep starting to take some liberties, maybe have a bit of fun with things, which is obviously expected from a lot of the players on this squad. Oh, quick A push, and you know what? This is just decimation. It might have only been pistols, but the Last Sheep just run out and take every scalp, every frag that they want.
Yep. And it's as easy as that. I mean, if they can keep that momentum up, they can keep winning these rounds where, you know, Railway Gurus are scrambling to gather buys. It's dangerous. I mean, from CT perspective, because again, you're having the reverse slip reverse sweep from Last Sheep doing the exact same thing they did in the previous matchup against Lamb Chops.
Yeah.
And they'll continue to push that momentum. Do you have a little bit of a smoke bug? But elsewhere on the map, Zimzy is clearing house, doing what he does best. He takes down 3 full armor, full HP players back to back, and he takes some damage himself there, Jammer, but he'd be happy to pick up a 3-piece and get the bomb planned out of it. It's left to JJ and Anders to retain these M4s.
Yeah, that's a real question, though. There's 5 T-sided players hunting them down, closing in over time, and you can see Anders faced one of them, escapes somewhat scathed, but there's so many more players to find, or not find, sorry, so many players hunting, and well, actually, you know what? They passed the first 2 hurdles. They might just get away with things.
Zimzy has other plans, though. Oh, JJ will finish him off before his plans come to fruition. I like the fact that Last Sheep are hunting, though. I mean, they've got the economy to do it, right? Like, they can definitely buy themselves full back into the next one. Taking an M4 at the fight would be nice. Upgrading to an AWP is probably better, though, for Railway Gurus. That'll change hands into Status hands. We should see potentially another drop coming in for Zyrex, maybe? No, he'll buy himself a farmhouse up, and yeah. The utility honestly, is kind of... Go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, you can see exactly how important it was for Anders and JJ to stay alive right there, because those 2 rifles being brought forward, as well as the armor and I think there might have been 1 flash or something, but
yeah.
Regardless, you know, all of that being brought forward has facilitated this buy. This is a very healthy buy, considering you're 6-0 down and the last round was a full buy situation. So you know what, Railway Gurus, they're giving themselves, you know, every opportunity, every kind of little bit that they can do into these next few rounds. It's just a matter of converting, right?
Yeah, exactly that. Once again, we should probably mention, thank you again, of course, to Deal Me Out for sponsoring the Welsh Masters and providing the prize pools for tournaments. I think we have an update on the prize pools at some point for you. I'll let you run that one through, but let's get this round started.
I think it's £500 for first place.
There we go, £500 to first place. Not a bad prize pool for a Welsh esports tournament. And at the moment, Last Sheep are doing everything in their power to get 500 quid richer after this game.
Indeed. Oh, caught off guard from the bomb plant, and that's unfortunate. 2v2 situation. Mog is left alive on an island on the A site. JJ will shut him out of the server, and MMS can't do any of the B site antics because he doesn't have bomb. JJ closes things out, and that's Railway Gurus' first round.
It's a good round to get. I mean, like, you know, you're at that more or less halfway point in this first half. Get around on the board. Maybe start to build that momentum up off the back of it. It's how they employ that extra cash into this round, right? Like, this is now the big kind of question mark that hangs over Railway Guru's heads, is what can they do to keep that momentum swinging forward? At the moment, it looks like Last Sheep are going to put the pressure onto Stato as well as JJ. Initial tap damage doesn't land there from Joshua from the AK, but Stato was able to answer back immediately, and he'll answer again in the form of a shot onto Zimzy, falling the end to MMS, but he's done enough work there, Jammer, to really help out with JJ. But alas, JJ falls. It's the short players that make that momentum push in, and it's left to Anders to try and cover some ground while his teammates wrap around him.
Yeah, that was just a really good counter strat situation from the T side. They attack that B site, and as long as you can somewhat segment and segregate these B site defenders, then you can take you know, full site control because of the way that Railway Gurus had left middle open and gone for a heavier A lead.
This positioning, by the way.
Yeah, man. Unfortunate, but still possible, actually. The time's ticking down. Anders needs to get a move on. Gets the first and can absolutely win this one out, but goes for the hunt instead. Does get the final kill. Might be able to barely stay alive with AK in the hand, and that's useful, but at this point, you just want to kind of stack a couple more rounds in your favor, right?
Yeah, I mean, you want to go into the second half with at least 3-4 rounds under your belt. You know, you've said this before, and we say it time and time again, 11-4 is a honey badger situation where, you know, your back's up against the wall, but you can really fight and climb back up those that round count difference. Yeah, I mean, I think he had a kit, but he wouldn't have had time regardless anyway. Going for the AK is probably the better choice in that scenario, but maybe a bit more haste, and we could have seen a different round count on that board.
Yeah, well, as unfortunate as it is a deagle round for the CT side. Somewhat of a B stack because the Last Sheep have been harassing this B site. Not that they've, you know, been having trouble wherever they go, but right now it's just a situation of how much damage can Stater get away with before he gets taken out of the round.
Doesn't even go for the AK in this scenario, Jammer. Oh, doesn't need it. He'll pick up the first. He's not able to get the second on the Zimzy, and we go 8-1 in favour still of Last Sheep. Predictions, Jammer, as we start to get towards the dying stage of the first half. I mean, at the minute, you're going to stack that favour all in Last Sheep's position, right? Like, you're going to continue to stack the odds in their favour.
Yeah, it's a tough one because with this double up setup, you know, it's not been working out so far, but if the Last Sheep really start to take liberties and decide that, you know, we really want to have some fun with things, then I can absolutely see this being extended. But if things like that happening, then you know what, the Last Sheep might just run away with things. 2 versus 4. Now Anders and Zyrex trying to stay alive. One being planted, and there's not much else to do, is there, mate?
There isn't, in fairness. There really isn't. I mean, Anders should be looking to keep the AK. He's going to take on one against Joshua, but he'll swing back into it, and Zimzy will finish the round off. And yeah, 9-1. 5 rounds left to play the first half, and at the minute, unless something drastic changes in the gameplay from Railway Gurus, we're going to be heading into that second half with still only one on the board for them.
I mean, it's not a 16-0, right?
No, but yeah, exactly. I mean, Last Sheep have so far been... I'm going to shut up for a minute because Joshua's just taking heads. He'll get a third headshot back-to-back there with that AK. Anders is going to try and answer back through connector, but Zimzy's going to finish him off. And it's JJ left in a 1v5, and he'll have his head taken cleanly off his neck as well.
10-1 is going to be the score moving forward, and this is a situation where Railway Gurus are going to force up again. They're kind of running out of opportunities where they can put rounds on the board, so you don't blame them for going for this kind of a buy, but I don't know. I think I want to see something a bit different, tactically speaking. Maybe go for some sort of palace push. Even this kind of a play, pushing down underpass, can be viable. It's just a matter of trying to keep your players alive and hope that they can survive long enough for the flanks to come through, and that's just disgraceful.
Yeah.
CT side has just been demolished, right? Like time and time again. It seems like, they're just being caught off guard by the relentless aggression of the last sheep, and this is exactly what we're on about. Zimzy shouldn't be there with an AWP at that timing,
No, he
but
shouldn't.
he is.
And the fact that he's been given so much room to maneuver to get into that position, he picks up the initial with an AK against Stater. Okay, after Stater gets the opening frag of the round, immediately swaps out to the AWP, picks up 2 pieces right straight back to back to back essentially off that. It puts Last Sheep in such a good position that they're actually hunting for final kills. They're having to rotate to get bomb now, and they've gone all the way around the map in order to get back to the bomb because they've got so much time and availability given to them essentially. JJ's having to scramble for some sort of idea here as to what he's going to do to be able to stop this extra round from getting put on the board, and he's in such a far position from B side that he's not going to hear these footsteps going in, so he's going to have to retake after bombs being planted, and that'll give Last Sheep just that little bit of an extra competitive edge to get post-plan positioning in place as well. They shouldn't really have to clear a lot of site. They've already been here once, and that bomb plant going through, that'll spell the end of this round potentially for Railway Gurus, unless JJ can do the impossible.
Yeah, 2 players to find, and it seems like they're going on the hunt themselves. MMS walking through his own smoke will catch JJ off guard, and that's a frustrating situation to be in, but it's one that's, somewhat close for Railway Gurus to steal one away. They're just unable to bring it across the line. One other thing to talk about, actually, is Kian having a real rough time. We talked about how good he was on Overpass, how good all of the Railway Gurus guys were, but yeah, he's having a real tough time here. And then on the other side of things, you can kind of see Zimzy, Joshua, MMS, the usual criminals getting away with their antics, running out into middle. And this trade isn't actually going to favor the T side, but you know what? There's so much A control forfeited over that it might just fall to the Last Sheep's favor anyway, and that is insane. What?
Yeah. Joshua just basically kissed Cyrex there on the way through. It's just like, hey, how's it going? Here's an AK for you, my friend. Things are just, it feels like there's no control from Last Sheep, right? But yet they're able to convert rounds off the back of it. Stater's got nowhere to run there. He's going to run into an AK, stay in a molly, or run through smoke into another AK. It's just horrible position to be in from a player.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate is an apt word for this entire half of the Railway Gurus. But you know what is fortunate? There's a whole other half to play after the next 2 rounds. Will Railway Gurus be able to buy any breathing space, though, as it looks like the Last Sheep are going to try and take some advances onto A. There's a couple of trades, in fact. Is going to leave things in even keel 3-3, but it's just so domineering the way that the Last Sheep just continually wrap and hold W into any situation that they can.
I like this. It's one of those sort of games where there's very little for us to really break down, and the reason why there's very little for us to break down is because of how dominant the Last Sheep have been playing. I mean, there's very little for us to look at and go, well, this is how you could change this up from Railway. This is how you could adjust this. This is just a complete whiteout by the way on the site. Emmy's all the way through, full flash onto Kian. He's able to take all the way through back into the backside of CT spawn. This is just unbelievable. I think that was 8 flashbangs that went off into A site.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And now there's 2 CT side players left alive. JJ will make his presence known, locking down a line of sight on A, and the smoke instantly there to cut things off. It's just a little bit silly, right?
Emmy's just begging for the knife kill. That's all he wants at the minute. Look at this.
You might just get it.
Oh no! Get it. Yeah.
4x3. 4x3.
No way.
And well, it's not the knife, but just as disrespectful as the Last Sheep lock in 14-1 at the end of the first half of this best of 3 grand finals.
He threw his MP5 over him. Disrespect on that man. 14-1 Jammer into the second half, and I mean, Railway Gurus lose pistol and that's it. Basically, it's done and dusted. Like, there's no. you know, we always like to caveat and say there's seen stranger things. You know, players and teams can come back from, you know, feasibly unwinnable odds, but realistically speaking, Last Sheep have been so dominant in this map that even if I think they lost pistol, they still be finishing this one off anyway, regardless. Run boost like that and out into sight for Away Gurus. They'll out into mid for Away Gurus. They're looking for more. JJ will pick up one, but Zimzi's just got like target rich environment and doesn't able to connect into anything. Zyrex is going to pick up Mog with a quick switch back with the USP. He's in ticket box and he can. He hasn't been checked. He has, but he hasn't in a weird way. You get the knife kill that we wanted from previous round, and you'll actually finish off one, but not two. MMS, last man standing, Jammer.
He did it last time. Can't do it on this pistol round, however, and that is a second round for Railway Guru, so not down and out just yet. And that is a little bit of breathing room, but it's more like an inching away from the inevitable demise of the conveyor belt that is the Last Sheep.
I mean, we like to talk about that pixel difference. That genuinely was a pixel difference from having been spotted and not being spotted at ticket, right? Like that's the difference in that's the difference in resolution essentially. Mid push coming through from We're Gurus. They're going to look to try and take advantage of the SMGs that are in play from Last Sheep. Get some distant shots, but Joshua is good with that deagle. You pick up two, not before getting taken up by Zyrex, and this MMS will finish off Zyrex in the end. And this is now a 4v2, 4v3, I should say. 1v3.
Love to see Anders AK prevail, but it's not going to save him in this scenario. Stater 1 versus 2. It's not looking like the odds are in his favor. Already tagged down to 11 HP, and I've lost optics.
Yeah, same. I think we're both in the same position here, unfortunately. I'm going to come back to our cameras very briefly, just so we can get that fixed up, so we can jump back in for the final couple of rounds, which I think is what we're going to potentially end up seeing. Not quite certain what's happened, but we'll figure that out in a second. From us, at least, anyway. Just waiting to.
Okay.
So we've just been told by production. Unfortunately, there was something issue with the feed itself there, but we've essentially Last Sheep won. I think there's no real kind of hide in that. To be pretty honest with each other, I mean, the boys are in chat already from both teams talking about it. So we are going to wait to jump into map 2, which will be Overpass. Hopefully, a better showing from Railway Gurus. Something maybe magical happening to take us to map 3. It feels unlikely, to be honest with you, the way that Last Sheep played that last map. But I think we'll take a very small break, just a couple of minutes there. We wait for map 2 to load up. We'll be back with you shortly. we've done every other language at the start, so I'm just gonna do bonjour, everybody. We're back. We're back with map 2 out of this best of 3. We're into Overpass. Last Sheep obviously taking map 1 Jammer in quite a dominant fashion. This is, however, Railway Guru's map, so let's see what they can really perform with. And at the moment, it's not the best of starts as Zimzy cleans up Kian immediately. Mog is there to back things up against Anders, and Stato will finish him off in the end.
Well, Zimzy playing with his food and in fact gets punished. So this is a 3-on-3 that can favour anyone except for the fact that the last Sheep are set up almost perfectly for anything because they've just stacked themselves into middle. And then MMS has tucked himself into a corner on long. So it really is up to the Railway Gurus as to how they want to approach this one. And they're just going to run their way over towards MMS. He can call for the rotation. And in fact, I think that might pull the attention away from MMS. So perfect bait and switch from these players. And oh, it's so lethal, so dangerous as MMS shuts down this pistol and he cleans up. In fact, 1-0 to Last Sheep. And that's a really, really well played out round.
Yeah, that's so clean from MMS. I mean, like, he picks up the first. There's a little bit of a scramble onto the second guy, but he still cracks that egg and goes for the third, and it's not really a lot of pressure on him, in fairness. Good positioning, good placement, good call of the ball for the rotation as well to give himself that nice advantage to pull the tension away, and it works out well for them. Last Sheep take the initial round, and Railway Gurus are on the advance.
Well, more liberties being taken from the last, or by the Last Sheep, and they're going to be rewarded for it because there's only pistols up against them. Although Stayer picks up 2 with a P250, and that's a return on investment and then some. Still even keel in terms of man situation. However, the pistols are always going to have less firepower. So,
MMS. Sorry.
It's just silly, isn't it?
Did you see that setup? Oh my god. Oh, okay. Right. So the setup there was perfect. MMS backs himself up into that position. They can't see him. He can see them. There's pixel differences between legs for him and more or less like chest and legs for them, because of the way that he's like crouched up on that ramp, right? Like it's a very difficult position to spot unless you're on the CT side of things. Picks up the first, the second, the third. It's clean again. Okay, it's against pistols, but like these opening rounds, the ones that you should really be punishing teams with, and Railway Gurus haven't really done a lot to punish, apart from Stater getting that double.
Well, that's a punish. Zimzy taken down on long. It does cripple this A site somewhat because the closest support from your man Joshua will be Mog and Connector. Lovely transition from the Observer. Mog, go for Liberties and Connector. And this isn't, this is pretty much what we expect from this Last Sheep side, except for the fact that Joshua goes down. That's not something that we expect at all. Now the A site is almost free for the taking, but it's up to the Railway Gurus to determine that and figure it out.
Indeed it is. All the audio cues here, I mean, this is just perfect positioning from he's just waiting for knowledge that door's open. I mean, the spray through works just as well, right? And we'll pick up 1 off the door opening. JJ will finish him off, but still damage being dealt out by MMS, and it's really stifling Railway Guru's attempt to push into B site here because it's not giving them a lot of options to work with.
I was going to say, the way that they pushed through Connector, they were unaware of the fact that Mog actually escaped from Connector and onto B, so they were just watching their back for the longest time, and now they've only got 20 seconds to take the site. Luckily, they gambled right, and it's an open site to take, but that could have gone very wrong very quickly.
It could have indeed. Railway Gurus should, in theory, put 1 on the board here. MMS and Mog do have the opportunity to try and recover back, and a lot of noise being generated by MMS, but you've seen him before take fights, and that when he doesn't win, unfortunately. In this case, Mog will pick the head of Cyrex, but Stato's good for it. Picks up that last crucial pick and puts her own on the board for them. Much earlier than last time round in the first map, of course.
Yeah, and it's a lot less dominating from the Last Sheep compared to the last match as well. So it's not looking all doom and gloom for the Railway Gurus, and there's definitely an opportunity for them to continue this momentum.
It really is. I mean, you can build off that kind of round. You put the hurt onto Railway Gurus now. That puts him into double eco. Oh, I say double eco. They'll probably have a soft buy then eco.
Yeah.
Just depends on what you can build from it. Our sheep will use a man straight off the bat, and that was one of the... Well, that was a rifle that was in play, at least. Gosh, it was deep with this Eagle Mind, and this is good position to have, but it's very much a one and done. You won't even get one off the back of it. Kian will finish him off, and we're now in good positioning for Railway Gurus to potentially put a second on the board and take us level peg in for the first time, Jammer.
Yeah, I believe Zimzy was actually going to start to rotate up towards the A site. He hears some noise in connector and gets warded off from that. Emmy, though, on an island, actually doing significant damage with the MP5. That's pretty incredulous. But you know what? It's just Mog in a 1 versus 4 with an MP9. He got 1 kill away beforehand. I don't know if he's going to get much more on this occasion.
I was going to say, I see him really going to get the AK potentially and saving it, but he's going to go for this and he'll get punished for it. Zyrex will finish him off and takes us to level pegging for the first time, Jammer.
Yeah, 2-2. First time that we've seen the last sheep not in the lead.
First time we've seen a team in level pegging at any point during today as well. Because every game we've watched has been domination essentially from well, both of these two teams that are in the finals.
What a weird Counter-Strike, huh?
Yes, interesting day of Counter-Strike. Weird is definitely a word for it as well, of course, though.
Well, Emmy takes short control, running through the flames, trying to get a kill with the MP5. No one there to meet him because this is a very passive default from Railway Guru, stacking 3 towards A, so you can see the thought behind the game plan. It's just a matter of them actually progressing through to that point.
Trying to get this chip damage onto Last Sheep, but it's proven difficult to get it. They're not really making good use of the room that Last Sheep have awarded them. I mean, look at Long, essentially. They can take the entirety of that. Now, there's only one player backed up, and that's MMS, and they're not really giving many noise cues to Joshua to kind of call the ball as far as rotate back into sight from B players. The smoke going down should call some assistance in from B side, but look how deep the players are, Jammer.
Yeah, this is almost a unicorn because the T side are getting to A site without anyone seeing each other. Joshua will be the first to chime in. MMS gets 2 somehow traded out, but it's a 2 versus 4 situation. That should not have fallen in this situation. And now it's just Anders. 1 versus 4. He might have an AK, but there's 4 CT-sided players in front of him, and that's all said and done with the Last Sheep regaining control of that lead.
3 AKs, Jammer. All round as well. I mean, there's 4 of them there.
He doesn't want
he's not
one.
Gonna, he's not going to do it. MP5 is the way for him. This is the way. I mean, 3 upgraded AKs. There we go. Let's put it that way instead, right?
Oh, what is going on?
CS is such a weird game today.
Yeah.
Very peculiar. I don't know if it's because people are just excited to be back in tournaments and playing outside of Prem, playing outside of ESEA. I don't know what it is. It just seems to be a weird vibe going on today. This deep aggression from CT though is starting to help things out. JJ will fall to MMS and Sim look how deep he is here, Jammer. He's playing the backlines perfectly. He'll get the initial pick onto Zyrex. That gives MMS enough space to maneuver onto Anders. Stater will answer back eventually. Too little, too late, some would say, though.
Yeah, there's so many players to find, and I don't know how Joshua gets away with that.
I think the table took the brunt of that AK fire there, to be completely honest with you. It's not the cleanest of maneuvers. Stater will fall in the end, and Emmy will finally upgrade. No, he won't. He'll stay on the MP5. What is this, 1.6? What's going on? Like,
I was going to say, he's trying to build up that stat track counter, but there isn't even one on it. It's just the pure moral decimation that you're laying down onto your opponent.
I tell you what I have seen, though, which I think you saw as well, but we didn't really touch on. There's a hot rod in play from the Last Sheep.
There is.
Easily one of my favourite M4s. enough of the skins. Let's talk about gameplay, right? We'll
Yeah.
come back to certain skins at another point. So at the minute, that golden AK from Anders in the hands of Joshua, he'll put it to work on one, but he's got assistance from teammates. Everyone's falling around him at the moment, and just playing around today, isn't he?
Just doesn't care.
Does someone want to tell him that 500 quid's to play for you? Like, this is a serious matter.
I
Yeah,
think
as I
you'd
was
just
saying,
get a shrug.
Yeah, you probably would get a shrug, to be honest. The golden AK in the hands, though, from Joshua does enough damage to help out assistance with his players, and we got 5-2 in favour still of Last Sheep. Big round from where we're Gurus. They win this one, they can start pushing some more damage back into Last Sheep, but it's all about getting those early fights underway. Mog, speaking of an early fight, will take out Anders. JJ falls to the MP5 once again. Oof. Okay, Zyrex and stay here. It's good kills, definitely worthwhile. Joshua had M4, I had MP5, so not much of a change up for that.
Oh. That's feels bad man moment. Zimzy is traded out though, finally punished, and now it's a 2-on-2. Stater and Zyrex left limping, but if they catch a good timing, they might be able to just get away from the clutches of Mark, but he's rotated him perfectly and should just be a matter of time before the Last Sheep put a 6th round on the board. However, Mark is playing with his food and he still gets away with it. So that's, yeah, make of that what you will.
This is now where like you start to see Last Sheep come back into normality. I say normality, it kind of is normality now with the MP5 getting picked up again, right? Like this is their normal kind of setup. They're running a gun in, taking rounds, taking fights. You know, yeah. I find it very difficult to find key highlight points or good points for Wayway Gurus at the moment because they're just losing these 1v1s and it's not really falling in their favour.
Yeah, weird situation. Joshua just didn't have ears for a moment there, and he gets punished. Orb traded over to Zyrex, and Zimzy also has a secondary Orb towards A. MP5 still standing strong as per usual, which is the most bizarre sentence that I've said in CS for a while. And that's done and dusted as soon as it started to materialize into something.
It's probably really hard to hear when Emmy's running around singing like I'm a Barbie girl or something like that at the top of his voice. Or whatever meme is going on in that Discord call right now.
He's just sat there like, guys, I've got the new meta.
Yeah, MP5. Just run MP5. And if you W and left click with MP5, it's like kill, kill, kill. Zimzy takes some damage from somewhere. I didn't quite catch that or where it came from. Might be utility potentially, down to 37 HP. So he'll be backing himself off into a better position to take control, unless it was a team damage. Joshua, on the other hand of things, has some damage of his own on the Stater.
Well, a lot of damage, but not many rounds being transferred over to the T side. 2 of them have been the limit that we've reached right now. And I think that's the maximum T side rounds that we've had all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Oh, good kill there from Kian.
Oh, you got your answer. It was team damage.
Yeah, it was team damage. Emmy doing Emmy things.
Yeah. Well,
I like this aggression, by the way, from Joshua. Pushing straight down long A, try and get some frags off the back of it. Kian will answer back onto both, however. We're now 2v3.
I want to ask
the real question you were going to ask.
Do you think Railway Gurus can get 4 rounds on the T side? Or even 3?
Yeah?
Yeah?
I think I'd like them to get another one. I mean, like, realistically speaking, they're already hitting PB right now, you know? Against Last Sheep at the moment. So, oh, that Molly. That's a team Molly as well, I think, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Railway Guru is saying we'll help you out, lads.
I might take it back, to be honest with you. What she said.
3 might be a bit too far.
3 might be pushed there. 2.5. 2.5 might be good. Mog, finish off Anders before that fight even begins. Zyrex will swing on to 1. You'll get the kill, but he's not able to secure anything else. Sorry, that was Kian. I do apologise. I'm right in the end anyway, because Irix isn't able to get the final frag onto Mog.
I don't know how to break these rounds down, because that is actually ridiculous that the last sheep managed to steal a round away like that. It just seems like the Railway Gurus are a bit flustered right now. But this is a situation where they have the firepower advantage, of course, by virtue of the PP Bison.
Yes. Why PP Bison? Sorry, I'm scratching my head right now.
The A site is also
quid,
clear.
lads. Yeah, I know they've just basically wrapped down into B. They've actually read it right, which is just ridiculous as well. The fact that they've managed to read it somewhat correctly. Boosted player is up. That flashbang will pop in. Joshua was able to pick up one against JJ, but JJ is probably going to be going, I don't know where he killed me from. Because the boost isn't what you would kind of expect from outside. Joshua will get finished off in the end by Stater. He pushes around that doorway, and the AWP is deadly enough for him on that side. But yeah, I mean, like, they read it right, and then they've now kind of faded away back towards A site, just in case. It's Mog as well on A side, Jammer, which you kind of expect him to take a 1v1, 1v2.
I mean, the way things are looking, anyone on the last sheet could be taking a 1vx situation away. But right now, the Railway Gurus are trying to look to regroup, and there is a lurk from Kian, but he might be wrapped upon at any moment. This is such a weird round.
Yeah.
And that's saying something, considering the rounds that we've been watching. But, oh, MMS, he's just going to continue to do things until he's punished. Kian, however, can punish Zimzy and Connector, and this is, again, breaking down in a weird situation. Stater doesn't check his corner, but has to go back for bomb anyway. And they're stuck in a 1 versus 2. Oh, no, he's going to get knifed.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's not... It's just... The worst thing about this is, I mean, like, you know, obviously, we can't really break out rounds down that happen like this in as much detail as we'd normally do, right? Like, because of the way that the round's been played out. But realistically speaking, it's just unluckiness in more cases than not. I mean, Railway Guru's Stater there, that last round, perfect example, right? He checks the corner, just doesn't check it enough. Like, he's maybe half a centimeter away from seeing a player, doesn't end up seeing. Keen will pick up Joshua, and Zimzy is just going for the ace with the Negev. Gets 3 out of the bag, but isn't able to secure any more. The auto is picked up by Kian, and Mog will finish him off. Again, still using Anders gold AK, by the way.
Yeah, I think he's a fan of it.
I like it. I like the gold AK.
It is, it was definitely a very funny concept from when he originally brought it up in that matchup against Chris J, but yeah, a lot to commit to a venture like that. So
yeah,
each man to their own.
900 plus, something like that, I think it is.
Yes, that's like pretty much my car payment. But anyway,
yeah, exactly.
Round 13, 10-2. Railway Gurus not having the best of times, but you know what? It's not going to be any better because MMS has just run through the B site and...
Oh, sure. It's just like... I like Kian have a couple of minutes here. Zimzy kills Emmy. Doesn't matter, he's got enough money to buy another MP5, right? Like, no issues in that respect. Speaking of respect, there hasn't really been a lot.
No.
I'm wondering if we're going to see a last round Nova buy again. Like a full team Nova.
Oh, we start breaking into strat roulette.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like, last you've got to be feeling confident into it, right? Like, it's not a huge issue at this point in time. They can afford to lose a couple of rounds and have a play around if they really wanted to. Big swing back out. No damage laid out. Emmy, however, will pick up a kill there on the Zyrax. Stato is answering back at the moment. MMS will somehow connect onto that. Joshua was in the perfect placement, by the way.
The CT and T side have swapped positions, and I think Stater dropped the bomb towards short. Joshua has completely circumnavigated this entire T side, doesn't see anyone, and gets killed by Kian. Zimzy, 4 HP with a Negev. Can he clutch?
He doesn't have bomb control. He's got to hear them go, oh.
Oh my.
You know, if he connected that, then I'd have alt F-word. You know, boys, I'm done. I'll catch you all on the next one. He's got utility. I don't
That's
know
a
if that's going
firework.
to do anything. Yeah, it's not doing anything. He's running low on ammo relatively quickly, however. He does 2 flashes on the smoke to use to retake site. Not going to be needed, however. Kian will finish that round off for us, and they've got the 3rd jammer. I was right.
They
Even though I
do.
said I was taking it back.
Railway Gurus showing their true prowess, getting the most T-sided rounds that we've ever seen, apart from the previous map that we won't mention.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Just waiting for something magical to happen. Yeah, I saw that. That's... Okay, M249 instead of Negev.
Respectable or no?
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't put it past any of them at the moment. Zimzy will pick up the first against JJ. He'll actually pick up a second against Stater as well, and M249 things.
That's the... I don't know how to cast this game, Nick. Yeah. I wasn't equipped to deal with situations like this. What is going on? Zimzy is just straight up winning gunfights with an M249. Emmy does that. And now Anders is in a 1 versus 2 with a Prince Dream that has no silencer, no bomb control, and... What?
I wish I was still using my wireless headphones. I would just be getting stood up at this point, by the way, and just walking away. It would make my life a lot easier to be able to do that. But realistically speaking, I'm tied to the desk and I have to watch. Anders will pick up the first of 2 that he needs. Dealies. Okay. 34 seconds left on the clock jammer. Bomb needs to be recovered as well. And it's in a position where, realistically speaking, he's going to have to go towards B site if he's going to make anything of it. But 25 seconds, it just doesn't seem going for this. 20 seconds. There's no time, right? Like,
this is such a galaxy brain move from Mog.
Yeah.
He like, Anders is playing checkers while Mog is playing chess, just sat at the barrels, just playing with his food. This is actually ridiculous.
No.
Okay. Well, you know what? Anders picks up another round. That's 4-11, the most dangerous scoreline in CSGO history. And it is somewhat respectable. You're right.
I can't believe Mark went for the knife there. That's up there on the big brain play scale, right? Like,
I don't think you can use the word big brain and some of the plays that we've seen in this game.
No, actually, true. Strat roulette for T-side round for last sheep.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm about it.
I don't think they are. I think they're going to go for it. They know that, you know, that Honey Badger situation is there. Oh, that's nice from Zyrex to get the opening fray underway. Mog will fall. He's even stood back to do some more damage out there while he falls back. Big wrap into sight here from Last Sheep. I mean, they just need to... They need to crush that long A play, essentially. Oh. They've lost too many numbers, so they're going to have to pull back.
That's a perfect call at that situation. You're just on the cusp of committing to the A site and you decide to change tactics and you're at least splitting the defense. You know, even if you don't commit one way or the other, pulling back will always benefit you because you can see it forces the rotation out of the Railway Gurus who are fighting off the back foot anyway. That's not ideal though.
No, it's not ideal.
Lose the first engagement and now Emmy in a 1 versus 4, now 1 versus 3, tapping away at the P250, running out of health though. Is able to retain bomb on his back. So something to be made of this round. It's just a matter of connecting the dots. And it's awkward because he can't do it. And JJ will close things out. So that is a 5th round on the board for Railway Gurus. Tongue twister and a half to open things up for the second half of the second map of the best of 3 grand finals.
My favourite thing about casting UKCS is the team names. Because it's almost like they invent these team names just to mess with casters. Like tongue twisters, ones that we definitely can't say on broadcast. There's loads of it going on. Today, however, Railway Gurus have managed to top out on any team going up against Last Sheep with score lines like this. Oh my god!
I don't know
what's going on here.
how Anders didn't get a kill. Sorry, I'm
Oh.
still like 3 moves behind what's currently going on in the server because Anders didn't get a kill and then the B side just fell. There was a couple of trades in there, sure, but like, well, what? Where was the defense?
What just happened? Like what? Oh, it's checked and it's cleared. JJ and Stato will actually put 6 on the board. Do you reckon now at this point the team from last year are going right? I mean, just AK, come on, like this. The seal the deal on this one.
Even if they said that, I don't think he would listen.
No, he wouldn't. I know he wouldn't. But it's the thought that counts. What's he buying? MP5. There you go. Straight in. No questions asked.
Yeah. What do you mean? What's he buying? You know what he's buying.
Yeah, I already knew. Since he's got a Negev as well, why not, lads? Yeah, go for it. Some of us got places to be, mind. Come on now. 2 AKs, a Negev, an MP5, and a Khalil, and a smattering of utility across the board for Last Sheep as they swing into the ever-present and waiting M4s from Railway Gurus. I mean, okay, if we're going to break it down a little bit better, the MP5 actually suits him in a way because he's super aggressive with his playstyle, so playing up close is perfect in a way. I'm trying to give an excuse here, and I'm finding it very difficult to do.
Yeah, I don't know why you're trying to excuse someone that's just winning.
Yeah. MMS will clear 1, but gets taken down by Zyrex straight after. Joshua is there to help in some way clearing through toilet, and they're going to start making this big push into a site itself. The utility usage is coming through. This back play. He swings at a 1, gets the second. Zyrex is going, lads, where have you all gone? Why am I on my own here? Start the bomb plant.
Not a fan of that.
No.
So, for those of you at home, just to give a mini break, you know, we can do professional casting. Here's a little bit of large view. When someone's planting the bomb and you're in a situation similar to that, maybe, you know, a bit more in your favor, maybe a 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3 or whatever. Try and go for the player that's not planting the bomb because it's going to take the bomb planter at least a couple of seconds, you know, 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds to pull out their gun and shoot you back. Don't do that either.
Yeah, it's probably not the best things to do.
Do that though. Shoot them in the head.
Zyrex is playing CS Surf at the minute.
Yeah.
This is done, boys. Like the way that they're playing at the moment, just to push into side. Look at all this control. There's control and aggression, and like that was a perfect mixture of the both. You've got players like Joshua clearing dead zones, you know, before they even materialize into a dead zone. It's just very nice CS to watch. 13-6 is the scoreline. You can see from chat, come on, Reaper train wheels. I don't think the railway guys are gonna push this one out, unfortunately, lads. I think they're not quite dodo as of yet, but they're definitely heading towards extinction.
Hey man, I'd love to see some Coach Reaper content, some Silver insights.
I'd be tempted to do a video series on Silver Play of the Week. I kind of like, you know, what's that zombie film? Zombie Kill of the Week? Like that kind of vibe.
Right.
Where I just break down what happens in Silver CS. Which is usually just the most insane thing you'll ever see in your entire life. But it somehow works every now and again.
Hey man, I doubt there's anything as insane as these games.
Yeah, I mean, the strat roulette in the last map is definitely up there.
Well, regardless of that fact, it's 14-6. The Last Sheep, just 2 rounds removed from winning this grand finals and bagging themselves £500. So that's going to be a nice, tidy little bit of pocket change to take home. I'm going to take over for a minute to find out.
Yeah. I'm just letting this round marinate at the moment, to be honest, because this Eagles and MP5 is rigging out everywhere, and so far it's heading in Railway Guru's favour, but that's a bit of good utility usage. Not good MP5 usage, though, unfortunately. Kian will finish him off, and it's after MMS, a man who, if anyone could do it, potentially could be him, but it depends on if he clears these dead zones or not. He'll go for the first man, get the kill, get the second. He's looking for a third at doorway. Doesn't realise there's a man stood directly behind him, more or less, but pixel differences is what has helped him through so far. 1v4 on for the fourth if he can get it.
there is no way he expects Anders to be here. But at the
No.
same time, there's been so much time passed that it's absolutely possible for Anders to be here. Oh, Anders gets some revenge with the knife, and that's the banana slip into the kill. MMS taking out the server, and that's a 7th round.
Yeah, that is. So I had a little clap there, for Anders, because like I had just like images in my mind of Nico vibes with a Deke. Do you know what I mean? Like, please don't whiff a shot. Please don't whiff the shot. Pulls up the knife, seals the deal, so that's completely fine. But yeah, well done, Anders, on that one. In fairness, that's some good revenge being played out on the server for you. 14-7 is the scoreline. Again, Railway Guru is doing what is in theory the impossible and recovering rounds. Somewhat helped by Emmy and his Molotov antics. Oh, nice from JJ through smoke there. Clears out one, Stater is able to clear another as well. Also, that's Joshua taken down. And it's the slow push into the B side. Anders is able to answer. What are these tactics, Jammer?
I think the last Sheep are purposefully trying to get into situations where the last few players have to clutch up. And you know what? They're making it work. Because that went from a 2-on-5 to a 2-on-2, and now a 1-on-2. MMS left to clutch things out again.
He's got time to get a really good post plant here as well. Because both players are going long way to get back into sight.
Well,
this is a good position, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's a good spot to be in.
I don't know if I favour... I mean, I favour going this way because the utility usage on the bank, but it doesn't really leave you a lot of options to defend onto that bomb other than pushing out into sight like this, but it's working so far for MMS, so I'm not going to argue with it. You even pick up another AK, get the stab off the back of it, and 15-7, boys, match point. I heard that, by the way. What did we say? What is going on, yeah?
I don't like this anymore. It's just cruel.
No, it is. It feels cruel.
I'm sure Stater and Anders will have some choice words for us afterwards. But you know what? You're the one losing, my friend. So we have to take our casting as it is. 15-7, and on the verge of being closed out right here, right now. Emmy to lead the charge onto a B rush, but Marg will pick up the first kill, and it's just swarming. But Anders stays alive for a moment, and a brief moment it is. Just a couple of teammates left as the B site has fallen, and there's no bomb plant. They want the kills. They want to end this one with full bloodthirst in their veins. JJ, though, picks up 2 with the MP9. Maybe almost on for a third. And no, doesn't matter. Mark's going to close it out, 16-7. That's going to be the last sheep taking the win. £500 for them from Deal Me Out. Thank you to those guys for sponsoring us. And yeah, Nick, do you want to break that one down?
It was CS. I mean, it felt more like a matchmaking than a tournament game, to be completely honest with you, for multiple reasons. I mean, seeing the Gavs being thrown into the mix, Auto has been thrown into the mix, PP Bisons, P90s, stuff that you just don't normally see being thrown into the hands of players. You know, it is what it is. Commiserations, of course, to the Railway Gurus, coming in second place within today's tournament of the Welsh Masters. But yeah, I mean, we thought that the last sheep were going to be favourites today, and they genuinely were. In fairness, like they proved their worth in the server, proved their worth in the 3 matches that we watched of them, Jammer.
Yeah, I mean, expected results coming through, maybe in the fashion that we're expecting, but yeah, just all in all, a good day's worth of CS and a good set of kind of scoutings that we can look forward to in the future for those international tournaments that are coming up.
Yeah, don't forget though, it's us. This is it from us today, at least anyway. But there is more to come tomorrow. eFootball is going to be on the Esports Wales channel, so don't forget to watch out for that. Thank you from both me and Jammer to Deal Me Out, of course, providing the prize pool for the tournaments over the weekend. Our wonderful observer, as well as production team as well in the background. It's been nice to have them in our ears for the majority of the last couple of matches. We'll see you all on the next one. That's it from me though, and thank you, Jammer, once again for joining.
Yeah, thanks guys. See you next time.
It is.